Welcome to Scripts and Giggles with Shoshanna
and Marnie.
So, we're having a bit of a discussion off
air.
Yeah.
Because we like to imagine that we're on a radio show.
Yeah.
Off air, we have had a conversation.
Yeah.
And the conversation we're having is, who needs to be the star in your relationship? Obviously, some people date people and neither one of them are stars, and that is depressing. One of you has to be the star. There is probably another word for it, but I don't know what it is at this point.
Yeah, it's a star. It's like the type A. Not the type A, that's the wrong word. Like the
main character.
That's it. Do you have main character energy or are you supporting character?
Imagine if you were supporting character. Sorry, that is actually the most upsetting thing I've ever heard.
How many people have won awards for the supporting character? We will talk about awards later on.
We'll be talking about awards later on. Personally, I think at this point, listeners, lads, ladettes, ladies, I think it's quite clear that it wouldn't make sense for me to be a supporting character in a relationship with another human being because I'm so interesting.
But what if...
I have opinions and people must hear them.
But what if your partner, him being the main character, allows him to be super rich, super wealthy, get you into spaces where your supporting character can shine? I
reject this. I rebuke it, as they say in Jesus' name.
Yeah.
For me, this is like, I've always thought of myself that I could date like an actor.
I wouldn't want to do that.
I could date an actor, but I couldn't date an actor who was like, I'm on Graham Norton every week doing jokes, doing this. I'm saying I could date. You know who I'm gonna say because he's kind of my dream man.
Harry Styles.
Harry Styles. Adam Driver.
Oh yeah, of course, Adam Driver. Yeah.
Actor, talented.
Yeah.
Ain't doing the circuits like some of these lads.
No.
Probably you have dinner at Adam Driver's house. His wife's doing jokes.
Yeah.
His wife's
That's
like,
you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there being like, my wife is the main character in this relationship.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I could date an actor who was like, that's my job. Yeah. It's not like who I am.
Yeah.
My wife is the most interesting person on the planet. You should hear some of her stories. And both of us are delusional. Because he has the most interesting job in the world. But he's like, you've got to hear the story about my wife. In her office, they don't have ice cold water. They only have liquid. Tell the story. Tell the story. Marnie, tell the story. And I'm like, oh, God. So he's always making me tell this story. And I tell the most boring story on the planet.
And they'll be like, yeah.
Literally.
And you're only clapping because of your main character.
My partner is hanging on every word.
I'm so done.
Tell the bit about when you thought it was hot water. You guys are gonna wet yourselves. Like, he's my biggest fan.
Which I think is great in a relationship.
I want to date a fan.
Yeah. Goodness me. Yeah, he's a fan to you, but everywhere else, he's the one that has the fans.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, if you meet us in our relationship, in the morning when he wakes up and he's just Adam Driver, not the actor.
He will just celebrate
He's just like, you are so funny and cool and smart. And I'm ugly.
Wow. Why does he have to put himself down to put you up?
I'm the one who's saying, don't talk about yourself like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, sorry, I suck.
Oh my gosh.
In comparison to you.
Do you know what? I was listening to an episode of, it was like a Bumble podcast. And
Not Bumble doing podcast.
I know. But
Focus on connecting people about Bumble doing podcast.
No, but it was with Tolly T, who from the Receipts podcast, and she's really cool.
She's very funny.
I would love to have her on our show one
day.
Maybe
one day we could have her on our show.
She also talks about TV as well, so I feel like one
day we could.
You want Joy from the Mole, but Tolly T will be someone that I would love to have.
That would be a good guest.
That would be a good guest. But anyway, she was interviewing Stephen Bartlett from A Diary of a CEO podcast, and he's
really boring.
No, he was nice. He seemed okay, and but he's
okay.
But he's like incredible. He is, a young millionaire. He's done a lot of great things, and he spent most of that podcast. I know it was a podcast about love, but he really just gave so much shine and light to his girlfriend, and really made her the main character. Even though this guy, he was the star of his interview,
and that's how it should be.
Yeah, exactly.
For me,
yeah, and I like humility. I think humility is a great sign in a partner.
I haven't said this for a while on the podcast,
what?
but you know that my stance is men should talk less.
I know, no, yeah, you know, because we're gonna make merch with that. Like
men should be seen and not heard. And as a result, I do think in every couple, the man should just be a massive fan of his girl.
I do. I agree. I don't want him to be subservient there to her. I think they should be on equal playing field.
Stay out of our business.
Oh, fam.
If my husband makes me breakfast and I don't make him breakfast, stay out of it.
No,
I don't want you saying to him, "Oh, you need to believe in yourself."
No, I need it to be balanced.
You can. That's for you. Don't come to. What I'm saying is, don't influence him with bad ideas. Don't come and start teaching him he needs to have rights in this world. No, his rights is to serve me. Yeah.
Yeah, he's right. Men should serve.
Yeah.
And also
and that's when the scripture ends. Men should serve. And then the page has been ripped out. And then the page has been ripped out.
God loves the church.
The page has been ripped out. In the Bible that my man is reading, it's dropped out.
He's like, oh yes, and the man should just serve the woman.
Then it just jumps to the next.
Next chapter. Well, that's a bit abrupt.
Now they talk about cows. That's weird. Like, sorry, babe.
Now they're going through the genealogy of David's family line. What's going on?
Abel beget. But sadly, Abel could not beget.
Abel could not beget. No,
Abel.
Cain could not. Oh,
Cain did beget. Abel
could not. Wow.
Remember, that's for Abel.
Rip.
April. Rip April.
Now, every time you talk about Rip, rest in peace is what we mean.
Yeah, of course.
But every time we talk about it, you told me about the whole Rip thing. Because anytime someone messages RIP and then message you see as Rip. And now I can't stop on reading Rip. And it's not funny because it's a serious thing. Terrifies me.
I think it's so funny because Shoshanna recently, I feel like Shoshanna posted a Rip about a friend of ours. And I read it and I laughed. But it's, do you know what it is? I do also think like death is funny.
No, it's not.
As a person who has experienced like grief, it is funny. It's funny. But as in, you need to find humour in it. And so like as in like, you know something absolutely devastating has happened. But if you could be like, why did she write Rip? And that gives you a giggle. That's good because listen, every day is pain.
I know.
And where you can find the laughs, you should take the laughs. So when I read Rip, it makes me giggle.
Yeah. I think about that scene in From Scratch, one of my favourite shows from last year. If you want to hear our podcast about the best shows and some of the worst shows of last year, take a listen on the podcast. But that scene where the main girl, I can't remember what her name is.
Your favourite show. Your favourite show, you can't remember the girl's name.
Zoe Saldana's character, she's not had a shower yet, but she's been in bed for weeks. And her sister comes and hugs her, gives her food, and they hug.
Gives her a pep talk.
And gives her a pep talk, and then says, "You stink." And they like literally start falling into laughter and start giggling, and that is your moment of reprieve in this moment of the sadness and grief and pain.
Not to be morbid, but after my mum died, we had like a proper, like basically our house turned into like people would just come and every single person would come in and be like, "Is there anything I can do?" And I'd be like, "No, thanks." So bear in mind I was 12, so I don't even know why you're asking me because I'm probably like, "Can you get me some biscuit?"
Yeah.
It'd be like, "Is there anything I can do? Is there anything I can do?" And I remember saying to my nan, like, "Next person you ask me, I'm gonna be like, yeah, can you bring her back from the dead?" And my nan found that so funny. Yeah. And I remember being like, I guess it's quite precocious for a 12-year-old to be like, actually there is something you could do. Bring my mother back to life. How about that? And we still like will sometimes remember that and like laugh about like, there is something you can do. Well, you can't do it, but that's what I want you to do. Stop asking me the same question over and over. Because, like, that is what it's like. And you just find humour in really weird things. Like, weirdly, Billie Piper's quite connected to that period of time for me. And we'll be getting to it. I will tell the story.
You need to give me that link. And also,
But, like, I don't know. I think I think grief can be really funny.
I think what you were saying about finding the humour in pain, or finding something in pain that can make it feel even an ounce bearable, or just for you to feel alive even in that moment or that period. I understand. Even though the Rip thing, now I can't look at it the same way. There's so many things that people will say And it's a funny anecdote, and now it just changes your whole brain chemistry, quote unquote.
It's like whether people read LOL as LOL or LOL.
I read it as LOL. And because I also do LOL. Especially if I want them to know it's funny, but I don't have time to go and find the emoji of me crying with laughter.
I read it as, if something's genuinely funny to me, I read it as LOL. Like when if I'm typing it, I'm like LOL. That's how I type it.
But I feel like
when I read it, sometimes I'm like lol.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But LOL to me, you're not actually lolling.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Capital letters LOL, you are laughing out loud.
I feel that's being sarcastic, like LOL.
No, lowercase LOL is like, you're not actually laughing, you're just being like polite.
Now I'm thinking about everyone who's lolled at my jokes.
Lolled at your jokes.
Who has lolled at my jokes? I'm really taking it back because I know.
I feel like for some people, LMFAO, they're like, this made me laugh.
Okay, I've had a few LMFAOs.
Do you know what's really hard? They're like crying laughing emoji. I now use when I'm not crying laughing. When I'm actually crying and laughing,
I use it for cries. Yes, so I started to use more of the tears because I want you to know that I'm not.
The skeleton head. When someone says something that has made me
good.
Scream laugh when I read it, I'm like, you have actually.
That's good.
I'm deceased.
No, I use either the laughing, this big smile with the eyes as like two greater signs or lower, less than signs.
When the eyes are squeezed together.
Squeeze the eyes, I'm really laughing because when I laugh
at the angle as well.
Yeah, exactly. When I laugh, the angled one. The angled one also means I'm like kind of quirky laughing, like. When it's shady, I use the sunglasses. When I'm like, oh, the shade.
I feel like shade is when I've said something that is shady.
Oh, when I put the sunglasses.
And then I put the sunglasses on, and like,
hey. Or the eyes emoji. I'm like, I'm looking at you.
When I do side eyes when
side eyes? That's a good.
Side eyes is actually not for when something's funny. Side eyes is for when when it's like ooh.
Yeah, side eyes.
When someone drags someone else.
Or like.
I do side eye because I'm when like, I make a comment,
when I go make a comment and it's shady, I also use I can use side eye comments, or I use the sunglasses. But
I love shady sunglasses.
I'm not very shady. I'm very like sunshine, really.
I wish there was an emoji that's just like two peace signs because that's so often I miss it.
What are you guys like? I'm just gonna throw my two pieces up.
Where it's like, you've gone out, you went too hard last night, you woke up and you're not hungover.
Like, this is okay.
You know, where you're like. That is what I wish was an emoji.
I used the eek sign like with the big.
I love the eek. Yeah. And I also love the anime like you're smiling but there's like a tear.
Oh yes,
I love that one when you're like
look what has happened.
Anyway, you haven't answered my question. So you're saying that you could be with someone and not be the star. You're happy to be supporting.
I don't.
In the billing, it's gonna say starring, and then it's guest starring. You're happy to be.
That's hard.
You're not even main cast.
No, you're not even main cast. You know when you like different font size.
Literally. Do you know it's like it says everyone's name. It says and.
No, I wanted no. In Dreamgirls, they listed all the stars, and then they said and introducing Jennifer Hudson. That's what I want to be. And introducing.
You want to be and introducing in your life. Your life that you're already living, you want to be
this is in the film about. It's not about my life. It's about
the relationship.
Yes, and like I want you to introduce this breakout star. And introducing Shoshanna.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
I want to be second billing. Like the two of us need to be on the poster.
Equal billing.
It needs to be like X money. Like everybody else smaller font.
Yeah.
Everybody else barely.
No, I want you to be above. I want to be a film by. Shoshanna.
So you're not in it, but you made it.
Yeah, I want you to know that I'm the puppet master, and you're the puppets. Done.
Wow, but then isn't that a story about you setting up your babe with someone else?
No, it's about the story of our life, based on a true
story. So you're saying you are actually starring in the film that you're making?
Yeah.
Love that for you. I think personally, I just want to be sure that when we do the PR for this film...
We're both in it.
Yeah. It's like, working with X has been so fun.
Sorry, I want to be the kingmaker. When Shonda Rhimes... I've seen the interviews when Shonda Rhimes will have Kerry Washington...
it's not series, it's a film. You're changing the metaphor.
But I know. But okay, in answer to your question, really, I don't mind if he is a star. I want him to be humble, though. humility is the only reason why I would be with him in the first place.
I respect that.
But
I'm just
I don't need to be the star in the relationship.
Knowing that I'm a star,
God.
I do not possess the ability to be humble. So I'm not asking my partner to learn humility. I'm saying the fact of the matter is you are supporting cast.
So he's a supporting.
He's supporting cast. Wow. Either we're equal footing on the poster, or you are supporting cast and guest starring. Oh my god! Actually, the movie is solely me.
Yes,
and then a couple of features from you.
And then that's the scene that will win. I was watching
so
win the Oscar
actor. He's gonna absolutely win the award.
You know, there's like I think I was watching on TikTok where it's like the record for how long a actor has stayed on screen to win an Oscar, and it's like 4 minutes.
Who was it?
I can't remember the name of the actor, which is really helpful.
Yeah.
And I have to go and find a TikTok, and I don't have time for that. But let's just say it was not worthy of the time that you would expect an actor to be on screen.
If you were to think right now of somebody who was a supporting or a guest star in something that you felt like really stole the show.
Jennifer Hudson in Dreamgirls.
But she wasn't a guest. She was a main character.
Oh, that's a hard question.
I've got one.
Marnie and me. No, sorry.
Marnie! In Girls, she's actually a main character.
Marnie and me.
But the dog! The dog is also a main character. Matthew McConaughey in The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yes!
Great
that's
guest star.
That's a great example. That's a great example.
I'm trying to think of another guest star.
That's hard.
Ooh.
That is very hard.
I'm trying to think of something I've actually liked watching.
That's the thing.
Another one.
Eddie Murphy in Dreamgirls.
Eddie Murphy in Dreamgirls,
of course.
Great guest star.
Great. Because Jimmy does have soul.
He did have soul.
And you can't kill a man with soul.
Scene that Eddie Murphy was in.
Stole.
You couldn't take your eyes off him.
No. You can kill a man with soul.
I still use it. Home, actually.
Yeah. I still use that line every now and again if I want to make a point.
I like to sing "I meant you no harm" instead of saying an apology to people. Never meant to make you cry. Why apologise when you can just sing a song? Like, listen, no more sad songs. Jimmy's been singing too many songs.
Exactly. Like, come on, now it's time. Jimmy. Jimmy got soul.
Jimmy got soul. He was on cocaine.
He was so much
on cocaine.
Jimmy don't got soul. Jimmy cocaine.
Passed away.
Jimmy did.
Jimmy passed away.
She's like, so when that woman was like, Gerald and Jimmy
are the rules.
That's the best way to break up with someone in a song.
I mean, he did die very soon afterwards.
Yeah. He was like, literally, it was a breakup funeral scene. I was like, oh, right.
They said, listen, as soon as you broke up
wrap
Jimmy took so much cocaine, he passed right away. He didn't make it past that day.
Oh no.
That movie is great.
Joe
deserved a bit more praise for his turn in that. Jamie Foxx.
He did, yeah.
Because he was unlikable.
Yeah.
And Jamie Foxx is actually quite likable.
Yeah. And
I really like Jamie Foxx, even though he kind of looks like my uncle, and that's why I don't like him. Like, every time I look at Jamie Foxx, I'm like,
He is incredibly talented. Like we were listening to Gold Digger, and though we were reading the comments, we were watching the video on YouTube, and we were reading the comments like, "This is Kanye's self-prophecy."
Yeah, literally.
But people don't rate how amazing of a singer he is.
It's not, because he didn't have him for 18 years.
No, but the kids. Like, I know that part he didn't think, but when he said that you have 4 kids, he said if he has 4 kids,
oh, wow.
he said your wife is going to use the money to go and
get
have
lipo with your money.
Which,
well, she could afford it herself.
She could. But it's just like, just him and what he said is just, and when he gets old, you leave your ass for a white girl. He even left her for another white girl. Uncut gems.
Listen, Julia Fox was doing them a favour. She said, I'm trying to help humanity and society. I said, leave my best friend alone. You can date me instead.
And Kim is like, and you are?
Could you imagine if a friend of yours genuinely was like, I know I can help you out of this bad situation you're in. What if I also have sex with him?
I'd be like, fam, you don't need to help. It's fine.
I'd be like, fam, you're not my friend.
No, you're not my friend.
You don't need help. I'd be like,
you
what's
to
a
suggest
crazy
that?
idea for you to suggest?
Yeah. No, then I'll be like, and you are? Like, who are you?
First of all, honestly, where did this woman come from?
No, I don't even know who she is. I don't even know who she is. She was a puppet. Pipette.
She was a pipette.
She's a pipette. And a puppet.
I'm trying to think of one more guest star before we go into...
No, I actually can't think of any because I don't have like, the vastest of film
I can't
knowledge.
think of a movie that I like right now, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's hard.
I was going to say, in Superbad, Bill Hader plays a police officer. He has a great scene where he empties out the party and then they cut back to him and he's dancing to the music by himself in the living room. This movie is brilliant. Also, Seth Rogen, who wrote the film, guest stars as a police officer in the film.
Is that the one? Is that how it starts? Like when they caught the guy?
No,
okay, I don't know.
You've never seen the film.
I've seen snippets. Yeah,
just leave it alone.
Yeah, I'm done.
Leave it alone.
We're done. Well, on that note, should we move on to pop culture news?
Absolutely. Pop culture news.
Wow, that sounds a bit like James Bond.
Do you know what is crazy? I made this song and about every single time we get to pop culture news, I cannot remember. No, I do. Deal.
Yeah.
Deal.
Alright, time to cut this out.
Deal. Put it in. So, 2023.
Yep.
Officially.
Yeah.
The Golden Globes has happened. Is it just... Are the Golden Globes always in Jan?
It is. And
early Jan, though.
It's early Jan, yeah.
It feels too early in the year to be making decisions about what was good.
Yeah, but they've all been voting for a while.
I know, but I don't know. Like, when I woke up, because fun fact about me, I'm subscribed to the New York Times. Excuse me?
Is it a fun fact or just a fact?
Wow. Drag the intellectuals. Because I'm subscribed to the New York Times, I get like a little brief every morning about like everything that's sort of happened.
Yeah.
A lot of it has no relevance to me because
it's all American.
I don't care about wars and sports.
Yeah.
But they said, Golden Globes happened last night, and I was like, did they?
Yeah, that one
I didn't know about it.
No, the nominations I think were around October, November time.
Okay.
I think. Well, I should know because when we were reviewing...
You're a voting member.
I wish. No, when we were talking about Abbott Elementary, I think I made by mistake and I made mention to the fact that, Kinta won the Golden Globe. That was wrong. She won the Emmys. Yeah. So I had to remove that from the podcast because that wasn't correct.
But aren't the Emmys Golden Globes?
No, the Emmys are in September and it's for TV only.
Oh yeah, it was actually quite weird.
Yeah, where Golden Globe is film and TV.
You're right, because I did remember thinking when I was looking at the winners, that like, these are too many categories. Like, why are there TV things and film things? That feels really weird to me. Why would you combine these two things? They're completely different mediums. But the Globes did what the Globes got to do. Yeah,
and it's kind of like with the Globe starting, and it's, you know why it feels odd? Because the last couple of years with the COVID, the awards show and timeline was all over the place. Yeah, this is just the start of the awards season. We're going to have the SAG soon. It's exciting. It's time for us to celebrate all the good shows that we've watched and good films that we've seen throughout the year. So,
do you feel like of the films that were nominated, you had seen a good chunk of them?
No, I was going to say, when are we going to watch some of these? Because things like The Fabelmans, which actually I saw a trailer for when I was watching Black Panther.
Honest, I don't want to watch that.
I mean, just
based on the trailer,
Steven Spielberg's story.
I know, but based on the trailer, I was like, I don't know if I need to watch this. Yeah, this is a bigger comment.
Yeah.
And I would love to know what the lads think about this, but like, trailers recently really give you the whole film.
Yeah, they do.
Like, I want to find out about the film the film.
Yeah.
You've told me the whole thing. Now I'm like, I don't even think I need to see this.
I'm sorry, if all the good parts are in the trailer, it means
all the good parts are in the trailer.
It means that you got a bad film. It means you got a bad film, honestly.
But I don't even think it's the film's problem. I think it's that the trailers are being like, people want to know. People want to know what they're going to get. Yeah, so give them all the best parts. It's crazy.
We are living in a very much information-heavy world.
You could sell that film solely on the fact that it's the story of Steven Spielberg.
You could have, because that was one thing they never mentioned. Because it was just by, like, you putting the dots together, like, oh, is this Spielberg's story? And I think it'd be quite interesting.
That was the only thing that made me want to watch it.
True. That's literally, they could be like, Steven Spielberg, he could have sat there in a chair and be like, they could have done this thing. He sits in the director's chair and they do a revolving thing of like him in the chair, the camera revolves around the chair and then it turns and just says The Fabelmans and done. See? Creative. That's all you need. Show Spielberg. He goes from director to the Fabelmans. We're finished. We don't need to see the whole backstory.
I have one fix for that.
Go on.
The camera you start and it's Steven Spielberg as he is now.
Yeah.
Camera evolves, and when the camera comes back round, the person in the chair is a young boy, and then it says the Fabelmans.
Ooh, nice.
Because obviously there's a version of Steven Spielberg's story that's like him already as a director.
Yeah,
How
true.
does he make Jaws?
Yeah.
And then there's clearly what the Fabelmans is about, which is his story up until he started making films.
Yeah.
So it's about his childhood. So that would be a great way to let
Yeah.
us know, like, this is a story about a young boy who becomes one of the greatest filmmakers of our generation. So
Yeah, that's a good shout.
and that's why I work in marketing.
And
Imagine the twist.
That's why I work in marketing.
I worked in marketing.
Yeah,
full
and
time.
I worked in development.
Yeah.
No, so that's why I work in marketing, and that's why you work in terms of like developing an idea, bringing it to life.
I do bring
Exactly.
And I do make things better.
Oh gosh,
Oh,
I'm done.
yeah.
I'm done. I'm doing
My superpowers.
No, I think seeing the list of the winners made me feel like I've seen some films, not a lot.
Going through the winners. Let's go through the winners and let's see if we've seen any of the things that have been nominated.
Okay, should we go? We'll just start from the top. So, best motion picture was a film, Fabelmans.
We have just said we haven't seen.
We haven't seen that yet.
We can't wait to see
so
it.
other films, that was nominated were Avatar. Haven't seen that yet.
Don't want to see that.
I don't think I have 3 hours to waste. Elvis, I do want
to see that actually.
And I didn't get to see it. I don't know if it's not in the cinema anymore. Maybe they'll bring it back.
No, they won't. I can't wait to see it on Amazon.
Yeah, exactly.
For free.
Exactly. Tar.
I want to see that because I've heard Kate Blanchett gives
she wins.
Award-winning performance.
She does win an award for that. And then Top Gun Maverick, which I haven't watched.
I will watch that when it comes on TV.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember watching Top Gun as for my film. No, why did we watch Top Gun? Oh, I remember. My Latin teacher was obsessed with Top Gun, so we watched it. I'd never seen it before.
Relation to Latin has that got?
Oh, it was a treat.
Oh, okay.
When we did our work. But I remember, and this really should have told me everything about who I was as a person, but being like, this film is really gay. Like, it's very homoerotic. And I remember telling my boss this like a couple of years ago, and he was like, I've never done a homoerotic reading of Top Gun. I was like, there's guys with no shirts playing volleyball.
Yeah, they're just having fun.
And it's about like two dudes who are like best friends.
Yeah, close male friendship.
Lads, our first live show is we're watching Top Gun. And at the end we're going to discuss.
How many discussions are we going to have at this live show?
It's going to be an essay question. In what ways does the director make this a homoerotic movie?
I'm finished.
Discuss. 25 marks.
In terms of other winners, so Kate Blanchett won for Tar. Everyone else is
best performance
for best
by an
performance
actress. This is what I don't understand about categories in general, like the Golden Globes. They make a distinction between comedy and drama, but they put comedy and musical together when those are two different genres.
Yeah.
I actually think just do film.
But I think it's partly because they don't have enough musicals to fill up that category.
But it feels weird to me to make a distinction between you're a really great drama actress, you're a really great comedy actress. Like, just put the films against each other, because the truth of the matter is a lot of these comedy films are better than some of the dramas are.
Oh, 100%. Some of the comedy films are not comedy. It's just drama.
Exactly, with like one funny scene in
like
it.
puns in there, yeah. But Kate was against Olivia Colman for Empire of Light, haven't watched. Viola Davis for Woman King, which I think, no. Accent alone, no. Anna de Armas for Blonde, I heard that film was terrible. And Michelle Williams for The Fabelmans.
I think she probably does a really good job in The Fabelmans. From the trailer, I was like, I would watch this just for Michelle Williams.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, I would...
But she's like the
I would be more
recognisable
intrigued
face.
to see Michelle Williams from Destiny's Child, no offence.
In The Fabelmans.
Yes!
Next.
And now we're going to go to Best Actor was Austin Butler for Elvis.
Best Actor in a Drama.
In a drama.
You have to be specific.
Sorry, in the drama. I actually want to see Elvis. I want to see
we haven't seen Elvis, so we can't comment
so,
on Austin Butler's performance.
Other people...
Haven't seen The Whale. Brendan Fraser.
Yeah. Hugh Jackman in The Sun.
Haven't seen that.
Bill Nye
in
Living. And Jeremy Pope in The Inspection.
I haven't even heard that film.
No. Best Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy. The Banshees of
Inisherin.
No, that.
By Martin McDonough, starring Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson and Donald Gleeson.
Okay.
One of my crushes.
Oh. I think Colin Farrell wins for that as well.
He won Best Actor.
Other people in the
Babylon
category.
by Damien Chazelle of La La Land and Whiplash.
Babylon has been interesting because it's not done well.
There is, you know the what's what I'm looking for? Premiere.
Yeah.
Was at IMAX today.
Was it?
Yeah, I was walking on my way home. I saw them setting up.
Oh, bruh, we could have seen Brad Pitt.
Next, Tony.
Best performance by an actress in a motion picture, musical or comedy, I think is well deserved. Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I can't believe Everything Everywhere All at Once wasn't in Best Picture.
Yeah, I agree.
It's actually crazy, and that's why I think the definition, like the distinctions between comedy and drama, because I actually think Everything Everywhere is a drama. It's funny, but it's a drama, and so the idea of it being nominated, her winning as Best Actress in a Comedy is crazy to me because her performance it's funny.
It's dramatic. It's the daughter that's more funny, but she's dramatic. Perfectly honest, I watched this film twice and fell asleep twice. I struggled. I struggled with this film.
Best film I watched in 2022.
Yeah, no, people told me, but it's just people told me because I fell asleep both times.
Beautiful film.
Yeah, it's great. Massive
made me cry.
Yeah.
Because I think it spoke to a truth that I have often... That's sort of topical for me, which is that idea of, like, you know, you have hopes for your life, you have dreams for your life, and like, the idea that, like, there is a version of you that's living that journey, but, like, does that make what you have any less special? And her relationship with her daughter is marred by the fact that she feels like she didn't live up to her potential. She was like, how that stuff passes down in generations. Like, you decide that you didn't get to live your life, so now you want your child to live the life, and, like, you're not really listening to what they want. Anyway, I just thought it was really beautiful. And anything about, like, you know, when we talked about From Scratch, the thing that really got to me was the relationship between the dad and son. Things about like parents and their children. I don't know, I just find it so striking.
I think that film is going to sweep at the Oscars. I think
I love that. I think the daughter deserves every single award. Her performance is incredible. Michelle Yeoh's performance is incredible. The guy who plays her husband, who was in the Goonies.
Yeah. Oh, was he?
Yeah. Wow. Deserves everything. Like, I honestly just think all three of them are so talented. It's such a special film, and it deserves it more than, you know, something like Babylon. No offense, but like a period drama from a bunch of white people. You've had your moment. Yeah. If we don't celebrate movies that do something different, we're going to just end up with the same boring shit.
Exactly. So I think commercially, I think it's going to do incredibly well. I think it's a heart-touching story. I may give it a third time or try to watch. Maybe I won't watch it in the cinema. I'll watch it at home in a cold room because
you can come to my house to watch it and I'll just keep you up.
Open
your eyes.
That one room was really... Both times
Look at the scene.
It was so warm. I was like...
Did you go to the cinema to see it both times?
Yes.
No, I watched it at home.
That's what I should have done.
Yeah, I watched it at home.
I should have done that. But I should have done. Because had I stayed away...
On my flat screen.
Yeah, it would have just made more sense.
I don't have a flat screen.
Yeah,
technically I have a flat screen.
A small screen.
A screen. Very small screen.
Best performance by an actor in a motion picture, musical or comedy was Colin Farrell, as I mentioned before, for the Banshees of Inisherin. Yeah. Best motion picture animated was Pinocchio by Guillermo del Toro. Best motion picture non-English language was Argentina, 1985.
Argentina, what?
Yeah.
Is that go back? Oh, a foreign language.
Yeah, foreign language. On non-English language. Best performance by an actress in a supporting cast.
Sorry, I have a real
Angela Bassett for Black Panther.
I have a real issue with this.
People said that she acted for her life. Everyone else was not doing it.
I have a real issue with this because what does she give? in a movie. Sorry, the movie didn't give. It made it feel like her performance didn't give.
No, the movie didn't give. So anything that she gave was over and above.
Yeah, but for me, it was like because the movie didn't give. It doesn't matter what you did. The movie didn't give, so you didn't give.
I mean, the other people in the categories were Kerry Condon for Banshees of Inisherin. That word is really hard. Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
She probably should have. Yeah.
Dolly Dion for Triangle of Sadness, and Carrie Mulligan for She Said.
Haven't seen She Said. Want to see Triangle of Sadness desperately, actually, because I've heard only good things about it. Can't wait to see the Banshees, actually, so I'm sure Kerry Condon probably deserves it. I just don't think Wakanda Forever gave...
I mean, no, Wakanda Forever wasn't. It wasn't.
And that's why I didn't win another award that night.
No.
Because it just didn't give.
But everyone's kind of predicted for Wakanda Forever. It's only going to win in, like, wardrobe, cinematography, but... It's going to be costume. It's going to be costume and Angela Bassett. That's it.
I don't think Angela Bassett is winning an Oscar for that performance because it just didn't
I think she could.
You think she'll win an Oscar?
I don't think she will. I think she's up there in potential. Because also, I don't know who else is in the categories. I don't know if the nominations have come out yet. But if it has, I don't know.
I think an interesting thing, going back to Everything Everywhere All at Once, is do you think Michelle Yeoh and Stephanie Hsu are both going to be nominated for lead?
That's happened before.
Because I think that's the issue, right?
There's been many times where
I think they might be.
Multiple actors have been nominated for the same category.
I don't think that's right. They shouldn't be up against each other.
No, the daughter should be supporting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because I see Michelle as the lead.
She is the lead. It's from her perspective.
Yeah, I think the daughter is supporting.
But I honestly think the performance that she gives is a lead performance almost, if that makes sense.
Whereas the daughter gives a supporting...
I think, the daughter gives the lead, gives a lead performance. Like, she gives such a good performance that it's a lead performance. But I agree, if we're saying that lead and supporting is like whoever's gearing the story, the daughter is the supporting role in that story.
Yeah.
Which is annoying.
But also, I think if it may be beneficial for...
I don't think
so the daughter be supporting for her to win.
Yeah, I think
Michelle will 100% win.
I like an Oscar night where Michelle wins and the daughter wins and the husband wins.
That's amazing.
I think
that's a amazing story. That's
the idea of them having to compete against each other is I don't like that.
But there's a lot of movies that have had to do that because
that's their business. This is a family show.
Because it's an ensemble.
This is a family film. We want the family to win.
Well, talking of the family, best performance by an actor in a supporting role. In a motion picture was the husband, Kei Ho Kwan for Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm not gonna go for the others. Best director motion picture was Steven Spielberg for The Fabelmans.
Did The Fabelmans win best motion picture?
Yeah,
I think
sense.
He's imagine winning best director, but your film wasn't the best film.
Fam.
But equally, like best screenplay went to Martin McDonagh for The Banshees. Just like, but my film was better than your film, but your film had the best screenplay.
Yeah. Oops.
Okay.
Best original score was Babylon, Justin Hurwitz. Best original song was Natu Kala Bearava.
I'd rather you didn't read this.
I'm done. Other songs that were in the mix was Taylor Swift, Lady Gaga, and Rihanna.
What Lady Gaga song is it?
Lady Gaga was Hold My Hands for Top Gun Maverick.
Next.
Rihanna's one was for Lift Me Up, but that is not an Oscar song.
It's a nice song for a mid-film.
Exactly. Mid, yeah. Also, it's ironic, and I never said this when we were reviewing, like, we weren't even reviewing, when we were just making commentary about music, how people will say 2022 was the year that Beyonce came back, and also Rihanna came back, but Rihanna hasn't. She hasn't done her album. And it's ironic that Beyonce came with a Clubhouse album, something that Rihanna could do in her sleep, and then Rihanna came with like a ballad slow song, which people would expect from Beyonce. Yeah, we're not living for it. Sorry.
Everyone should make dance bangers only.
Exactly.
That's what we've learned.
So we're now on the TV categories. Best TV series drama was House of the Dragons. No surprise. Other shows in the category was Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
The Crown, Ozark, and Severance.
I've watched Better Call Saul, The Crown, Ozark, Severance.
You watched them all?
I haven't finished Severance. I haven't finished Ozark. I haven't finished The Crown. I haven't finished Better Call Saul.
I've watched The Crown. Probably the only thing.
House of Dragon I haven't even started.
No, neither have I.
I think it's weird in that one, to be honest. Like, what does that say? Because the Severance, everyone was so excited for Severance because it was like a completely original idea.
Yeah.
It's based on a book, so I don't really even think the idea of calling it original is crazy. But anyway.
Is Ozark based on the book?
No. Ozark is an original idea.
So that's the only original.
Yeah, because The Crown is based on fucking
Royal Family.
Better Call Saul is a prequel.
Spin-off. Oh.
Yeah, prequel.
Yes, yeah.
Spin-off prequel.
Yeah.
And House of Dragons is a prequel.
Yeah.
Boo, prequels.
Wow, originality. Best performance by an actress in the television series Zendaya for Euphoria in the drama category.
I'm gonna say something controversial.
Go on, because we may have the same fault. Go on.
No.
Oh.
I don't think she should have won Best Actress for Euphoria. I actually feel like she did less this...
That's what I was going to say.
Zendaya is an incredible actress.
Yeah.
She is.
Yeah.
And she does a really good job with Root.
Yeah.
I don't know if and maybe this is me and the way that I look at TV showing, but like, if the show is mid...
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you give an incredible performance. The show is mid.
It's hard. Because I think previous series... Zendaya was
first season
amazing. There's an episode in this latest season.
The play.
It's not the play.
Is this fucking play about us?
Yeah, exactly. The play was good. I mean, that being said, the play was giving me throwbacks to not High School. What musicals were in? Were you watching in high school?
That was giving me High School.
It was giving me a Sex Ed, because Sex Ed did a very similar play idea in series 3 or series 2. Mm-hmm. So it was giving me that vibe. There's an episode, however, when Rue relapses and she is running away from the police.
Oh, that's brilliant. She is brilliant in that.
And
she deserves the award for that.
If that's a scene and that's the episode that they submitted for the application, she deserves a win.
She does deserve a win for that.
Because that was my favorite scene of the whole.
Let me revisit what I said. Yeah. Because honestly, Euphoria is sitting on Zendaya's shoulders.
Oh, 100%.
The only thing that makes that show work is the fact that her performance of Root is so raw and real, and I don't want to call it entertaining because it's somewhat at the bottom at the bottom of the barrel.
And it's also inspired by the true love story of Sam Levinson, the writer. Director.
But I don't know how long the show can just rest on Zendaya giving such a heart-wrenching performance every season. Also, that must take so much out of her, especially... I can't think of what would be... I can't imagine how annoying it would be if I'm giving 115%, but the overall... No, because I actually don't think the other characters are the problem. Yeah. I think the overall result is something that's a little bit tacky. Mm. And that final season, that season felt very much like... And I know they were trying to be like, Ria's at rock bottom and she's doing stuff, but it felt so like... come like wallow in someone's misery for 8 episodes.
It was a hard season to watch.
Play was great.
The play was okay. For me personally, I don't think the show has doesn't have longevity, but it's fine.
They have to leave high school eventually.
Yeah, they have to, and it doesn't. To me, it doesn't need to. And in the same breath, I don't need to see a prequel for this.
I want to see them in kindergarten.
No. And then she starts taking drugs.
Cutting out shape. No. She doesn't take drugs until her dad dies. So kindergarten is just them cutting out shape.
I just think it's a great... I mean, series 1, hands down, amazing. The soundtrack was also amazing.
Yeah,
one of the top songs in my Spotify Wrapped for 2022.
Great soundtrack.
It was
honestly,
great soundtrack.
the first time I actually thought that
Chef's Kiss.
Obviously Labyrinth stuff, but it made me really think about TV can actually do... That's the first time apart from Girls and Gossip Girl actually, where certain scenes have songs playing in the background that you're like, this song I'm going to download because it just reminds me of this scene, but the soundtrack to Euphoria is so it's quality wise as good as the series that you're like, I need to download this and I need to listen to this
and absorb it. Best performance by an actor in a television series drama was Kevin Costner for Yellowstone. Haven't watched Yellowstone.
It's very big in America. Yeah, it hasn't travelled really.
No, it's on Paramount Plus, but I think this is the only show that's keeping Paramount Plus alive, keeping the lights on. Best television series for musical or comedy, Abbott Elementary won. I'm very happy about that because that was great.
So sorry.
Oh, I know you have thoughts because the other nominees were The Bear. The Bear. If you listen to our rundown of our top shows and our top flops, The Bear was on number 1. But I loved Abbott Elementary. So
they won last year, didn't they? No, they won Emmys. Quinta won Emmy.
So, we had Abbott Elementary, The Bear, Hacks, Only Murders in the Building, and Wednesday. I think...
How the hell did this one? I don't understand.
Wednesday just came out.
Wednesday came out yesterday. How the hell is it? The only shows that deserve to be here
is The Bear and Abbott Elementary.
Yeah, really.
I think
I don't think the other three even come close to what those shows did.
But I'm happy that we're going to talk about a couple more winners. But I think we're going to get the recognition that everyone deserves.
Yeah.
Best performance by an actress in a television series, musical or comedy was Quinta Brunson for Abbott Elementary, which I think is well deserved. Other people were Haley Cuoco for The Flight Attendant, Selena Gomez for Only Murders in the Building, Jenna Ortega for Wednesday. Jenny Ortega for Wednesday. Jean Smart.
Jean Smart is brilliant in Hacks, though. I will say that.
I haven't watched Hacks, no.
Jean Smart's brilliant in the Hacks.
Yeah.
Jenna Ortega's. She's never done anything wrong in her life.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna probably review Wednesday.
Yeah. Selena, I haven't watched The Only Murders.
No.
And I have seen The Flight Attendant. She's very good in it.
I watched series 1, but series 2, I'm done. Series 1 I felt like was a nice wrapped story. I couldn't care for the next series.
You know, I think it's probably one of those series where it's like, oh, people weren't expecting this to do quite well.
Yeah, and then they're like,
we want you to do a second season. Yeah, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, because she's really flown. She's come back.
But Kate Cuoco is having a baby, so that's nice.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, on the red carpet she was pregnant.
Who's the father?
I don't know her life. What question is that?
I didn't know, because I thought she had just got divorced.
She's pregnant.
Wow, congratulations to Kelly. Best performance by an actor in a television series, musical or comedy. We have Jeremy Allen White for The Bear. So I told you recognition will come around because he was incredible. Absolutely incredible.
He should have thanked white t-shirts and gold chains.
I am so done.
That's Amy's white man. A rosé shirt?
No. I think it was a really good category. You had Donald Glover for Atlanta. We had Bill Hader for Barry. I haven't watched it.
Barry's brilliant.
I need to watch Barry.
Barry is so good.
Yeah. Then you also had Steve Martin and Martin Short for Only Murders in the Building.
I will watch one episode because I don't hear, like, people don't go, the way that people go mad about The Bear, I just haven't heard for Only Murders or... I have heard people going crazy for Barry, and I have heard people going crazy for Atlanta, obviously. But I don't think anyone goes crazy for Atlanta because of Donald Glover's performance.
No,
like,
it's more the other guy.
Paperboy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Paperboy.
Talk about big boys.
Oh yeah.
He's
big
on my
boys.
list. Yeah. Love Brian Tyree.
We were just talking about Scissor's famous song. I think that she should re-record Big Boys and put it on re-release your album and do Big Boys on it.
It belongs to SNL.
I know it does, but like
belongs to Lorne Michaels.
I'm sure, but he could get the money.
The rights. The rights and the rights.
But she holds the chorus. She holds the hook.
Yeah, you can do a little hook, but if you come and sing the chorus on my rap song, is it your song?
Yeah, but it's not your song. But I'm just saying, could I just use the hook?
Baby, if you give it to me, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, use the hook.
It's not Mariah Carey's song. It's Busta Rhymes'.
Yeah, I would say she doesn't need to hold the rights to the song, but can she like perform it on stage?
No, because she doesn't own the rights to the song.
It's so annoying because that's probably going to be one of her biggest hits.
Welcome to rights. Welcome to the pain of rights.
Best television series or limited series anthology was The White Lotus. Again, fantastic winner. Other category, yeah, that sounds exactly like that. And it's like,
honestly, when I hear that theme tune, I'm like,
and the thing is, I always wonder why does that moment happen? Like, who was like, you know what?
That was the theme tune for the first season.
Yeah, but even though like that, you have a nice score, and someone's like, you know what we should do?
The guy who does the music for White Lotus does the music for Utopia, which is brilliant as well.
Watched that.
Cristobal De Beer, I think his name is. Yeah. He does great soundtracks.
It's distinctive, let's just say.
I saw a TikTok where people were like, somebody played the White Lotus theme in the club, and the club went crazy, and I was like,
oh my god!
I would say if I was like buzzed, not like completely smashed, but like just like,
that's
you know, on the car,
my life,
and you were in the club, and that dropped. Oh my god!
You know, someone's gonna make a remix of it, like, oh,
that song is. I'm calling my ex to be like, we should get back together. Listen to me. The earth is conspiring. I heard the most beautiful sound. I'm finished. Whoever you make eye contact with when that theme plays in the club,
that's love of your life.
That's it. That's
when Rihanna said, "We find love in a hopeless place," you found love.
That's true. When you hear, look at him.
We found love. performance happens, we're gonna be reviewing it, hands down.
We're gonna be at the performance.
She's
gonna get us to come in
like,
and do
come
the
on
back
up,
and
yeah,
vocals.
exactly.
You know the vibes. Like, let's get these random, talentless UK girls to come and do as if we don't have machines to do that. If Calvin Harris can't do that, we're like, nah, Calvin Harris is busy. We'll do the beat, but don't worry.
Oh gosh. Best performance by an actress in a limited series anthology. You have Amanda Seyfried for The Dropout. I haven't watched yet. No. But also, the other nominees included Julia Garner for Inventing Anna. Interesting. I put that as one of my honorary mentions for flops.
I said Julia Garner's performance, though. Didn't I say?
You did. Then best performing actor, we have...
In an anthology series.
In an anthology series, limited series. Evan Peters for Dharma. Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story.
Do you know who I think should have been nominated, who didn't get nominated?
Go on.
You're not going to agree.
Oh, goodness me.
Actually, do you know, it doesn't work because they're not the lead because it's an ensemble. So
who? Just say it.
I was going to say the son from White Lotus.
The one who got his ass squeezed on one of the most graphic blowjobs ever on TV. That guy.
Yeah. I was thinking about it. I was like, someone from the White Lotus should have been nominated.
Let's wait and see.
And I was thinking about it. It's like, it can't be old dude, Will Sharp.
No, it can't be Will Sharp.
It can't be Theo James.
No, it has to be that part.
I think it's
well, ironically, the next category was best performance by a actor in a supporting role for a limited series or anthology. Let's start with actress. As the one and only Jennifer Coolidge from The White Lotus. It was her first Golden Globes win in her whole career. And she gave an amazing speech at the awards. She was cut off at the Emmys. They started playing they were playing the music as she was doing her performance.
I would just keep talking.
Yeah, they were carrying her off. No, and then they gave her the full 4 minutes for her to just speak, and she thanked Mike White.
She said her neighbours speak to her now.
Exactly. Really, and the guy was crying. Finally got the shot.
Mike White was crying.
Yeah, they got the shot of him like
really
tears were falling down his eyes.
They're like, I really truly believe that I didn't realise that he pitched the show as him and Jennifer Coolidge are making a show together.
Wow.
Like it's a hotel somewhere, because the show is pitched during lockdown, so it's like something you can make during lockdown because you can isolate all the actors.
Yeah.
And Jennifer Coolidge, isn't it?
Yeah, I think she's incredible. Also, ironically...
Rip Tanya.
Yeah, exactly.
Tanya,
rip Tanya. Spoiler alert, but rip her.
She made a lovely speech about him, and he was like, even though you killed me, it's like,
bro,
you really have.
But she gave you a second series. Like, you came back.
Could have given her third, though.
You could have, yeah.
She could have survived before.
Yeah, true. Also, Aubrey Plaza was also nominated in the same category. So, well deserved. Daisy Edgar Jones.
They should have nominated, actually.
Who?
Megan Faye.
Daphne. Yeah, they should have. She was incredible.
I know exactly what clip I would have used if I was her agent.
The cave one. No.
The one where...
The baby.
No. The one where Will Sharp says, I think they slept together, and she does that, look away briefly, and you see like a flicker of like anger, upset, whatever, turns back and it's like, listen, you just have to figure out how you're going to deal with these kind of things.
Now follow me into this cave and let's go.
Well, they go to it wasn't a cave, but it was some rocks.
But basically, let's go here and then let's do some payback. Also, other nominees.
Hanky Panky.
Exactly. Nisa Nash was also nominated for Dharma. Daisy Edgar Jones, who's famous for Normal People, was also nominated for Under the Banner of Heaven. Definitely not for Normal People.
No, I actually think her and Paul...
For the amount of nudity, yes. Everything else,
no. I actually think the whole series hinged on them. There were hardly any other characters.
Yeah. They
did a really, really good job holding that series on their shoulders.
Yeah.
The problem was the show wasn't very good.
No. The writing was all over the place.
But she was very good.
Best performing actor in a supporting role for a limited series anthology was Paul Waterhouse for Blackbird. I have not watched Blackbird. But F. Murray...
Waterhouse.
Oh, house in English, Hauser in German. Oh, houses in English, Hauser in German.
That's his name, so say it how it's supposed to be.
It says Paul Waterhauser. No, from a bush, okay? That's French. It's for Blackbird. But F. Murray...
Blackbird is a Apple show, I think, about
is it?
Prison.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good for them. F. Murray Abraham from The White Lotus was nominated. as
Donald
well
Gleeson.
as Donald Gleeson.
Donald. It's Donald. That's how you say it's
Donald.
Donald.
Oh, Donald Gleeson.
Are you even Irish? I can't listen to you butcher any more names.
I can't do this. Richard Jenkins for Dharma and Seth Rogen for Pam and Tommy, and he was good.
Seth Rogen.
I'm actually gonna slap you.
Ouch,
sorry, that really hurt.
really
I'm sorry, like, I hate
really
bones.
hurt.
Sorry.
I'm gonna tell my mum off you.
Best performance by an actress in a supporting role for a musical, comedy, or drama was Julia Garner for Ozark.
She's very good at Ozark.
Yeah, but we also had some really great nominees. So Elizabeth Debicki for The Crown, she played Diana. Hannah Einbinder.
Yeah.
For Hacks. I know how to speak some German.
Barry.
Sure. Janelle James for Elementary.
Not you being able to read the word Janelle. James.
And Cheryl Lee Ralph, who I love from Abbott Elementary.
Lovely Cheryl Lee Ralph.
And then I'm very happy about this. Best performing actor in a supporting role by a musical, comedy, or drama was Tyler James Williams for Abbott Elementary.
I think that's nuts.
I think it's a good. I'm happy for him.
Against Henry Winkler.
Everybody hates Chris, guy. Chris in Everybody Hates Chris won the Golden Globe. I'm very happy.
Henry Winkler in Barry is perfect.
I don't know what his role was.
Prove me wrong.
I don't know. But other people included John Lithgow.
Lithgow
for The Old Man. Jonathan Pryce for The Crown. John Turturro for Severance.
I think what we've learned next time we won't have Shoshanna announced because Shoshanna doesn't know a single name of a single
the good things,
celebrated actor or actress.
The amazing thing is we're going to be probably doing this again when all the other award shows roll in, so at least I've done some practice now. But yeah, no,
Which name was the hardest name to say for you in your life, do you think?
Oh, it's the one that I stopped through. It was the music one. The best song winner.
Don't do it again. Don't do it again.
It's painful. Other ones, there's no point. There's absolutely no point.
I thought you were going to mess up Elizabeth Debicki, to be honest.
So did I, but I had a show where she was on it, so I have experience.
I thought you were going to mess up Steven Spielberg. Spielberg.
But no, I'm pretty happy with the winners.
Spielberg.
Especially Michelle Yeoh, Kinta, Tyler.
Are we even saying Kinta's name properly? We don't know.
We probably won't. No, one day she'll be like, but actually my name is Quinta.
My name's Carla.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who was that? There was one actor that said, oh, actually, that's not my name. He's like a famous African-American actor, and I can't remember his name.
Jamie Foxx.
It was Denzel. I think it was Denzel.
Denzel.
I think everyone was saying it's Denzel, but it's like Denzel.
Denzel. Yeah. Listen, some people have accents.
But either way.
There's someone called Denzel on EastEnders and his name, we say Denzel. So, your name's Denzel now. Is that what you wanted? It should have been Denzel. At least Denzel sounds like fruity.
Oh,
gosh. That is a famous person, Denzel.
But either way, I'm happy for all the winners. I'm happy to see like such a range of different
I'd like to talk about something important.
Go on.
Claire Danes wore the most awful dress I've ever seen on the red carpet.
How did it look?
White. It looks like a clown dress.
Oh, wow.
What a clown would wear.
I'm gonna just Google it now. Did you say Claire Danes?
Claire Danes.
Golden Globe.
Golden Globe, 2023. When you see the dress, I'd be really interested to see what you think of this dress.
We may put a picture on this.
Arguably, it's the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh, it's a look. It's do you know what? Oh, do you know what's actually annoying me most out of everything?
The fit.
It's the purple bow. That's
pink.
Pink, whatever. Pink, purple.
Are you colourblind?
No. It's like it was giving me like lilac.
It's pink.
Anyway, the bow itself is the problem.
The bow's not the problem. The dress is ill-fitting.
No. Okay.
The dress is it's not. Here's the thing. No one could have worn this dress and it would be flattering. No, it's just a bad shape of the dress.
Even if you had like body yada yada yada, it also look body yada
this
yada.
Dress on Megan Thee Stallion will be booed. The colour is wrong. The style is wrong. It's unflattering.
It's also it doesn't do anything for her.
Nothing.
Oh, she's wearing a bra.
Of course, because how do you wear a bra with an ugly dress? How do you wear a bra?
Oh,
backless as well. Look at the back of the dress.
It just says pregnant Claire Danes debuts baby bump. Fam, there's so many other things you could have done to debut your baby bump.
I'm so sorry. Are you joking? That is the baby bump that you're debuting. Look up. No, I didn't even realise she was pregnant. Let me tell you, I didn't even realise she was pregnant. That's how
I think if you're really gonna do baby bump, you need to either do suit like Beyonce did when she went.
This is a pregnant woman. I'm not debuting this much baby bump. You can't see, but basically slightly.
I think she probably didn't need to talk about the baby bump if she was literally drowning in that dress.
If she was wearing a nicer dress, we would be having a different conversation about the baby bump. The fact the dress is so ugly, no one even noticed the baby bump. I'm finished. It wasn't flattering at all. It wasn't, and it was doing nothing as well. And also now it makes more sense that how it's so shapeless.
Yeah,
because you don't want anything tight, I guess.
Yeah, on your
stomach,
but that means
it's so shapeless.
And also,
it's a sack,
the dress also looks a bit heavy. Like, he had a lot of ruching and like patterns, and that's the thing. Like, what if you're having a revealing a pregnant bump or like pregnant, and you want something to be light and airy and lightweight to like wear, you would go like what Kaylee Cuoco did and just be like very like light.
What do you think of Tyler James Williams?
I only saw the top part, and now I've seen the bottom. Yeah.
I'm going to say this. Okay, the boys took risks this year. I love that.
The boys are great.
I love boys taking risks on the red carpet, because it's not fair that girlies are out here risking their lives on the red carpet and the boys coming out in black suit. No. It's about time the boys risk it all. I love the effort.
Yeah. I love the top half. The bottom half.
It's so interesting that you have the top half, because I actually think the top half is the problem.
The bottom half is missing me because, one, it makes his actually the top half is a problem now because it makes his torso look so small.
Yeah, I think the jacket is the problem.
But then the trousers and the trouser fit at the bottom is what is missing me. We are gonna put all these visuals on YouTube. If you watch our podcast on YouTube, you'll be able to see what we're talking about. We'll just put it in a sort of revolving carousel so you can just see how it looks. But
I wish for me,
and my house, we will serve the Lord.
I think best dress that night was MJ Rodriguez.
Let me see.
Look how expensive that dress looks. I think
if that's the best dress, the bar was low.
Oh, it wasn't very good.
Okay, cool. Because I think on that, for a lot of war shows, I've seen women dress that and they end up being on the worst list.
I just think she looks so expensive.
Like, it looks very decadent. Don't take me wrong.
That's what I just love how expensive. Like, if someone was like, I'm going to saw you're going to wear this, honey, I would never take that dress off. They'd have to cut it off for me.
It also looks so difficult to walk in. I'm sorry.
I'm not walking. I'm not here to walk. I'm here to pose. I'm here to pose, honey.
No pun intended. No, I just feel like, yeah, it wasn't given. I feel like people had like a 2-year break after COVID with these award shows. So they're still getting back to the reality of like dressing and posing. Who is that?
Barry Keoghan. He's in Banshees of Inisherin.
Oh, he looks like he looked like he's wearing loungewear. A loungewear suit.
Do you know what it is? It's the black shoe.
He needs an iron.
It's the black shoe.
I love the colour of the top half.
I love the pastel.
But I feel like it needs an iron.
Why the black shoe? Like, wait till you see Donald Glover is actually trolling us, I think. Because this is the second time Donald Glover is going to feature as a person who is just badly dressed.
I don't know.
I feel like he must be trolling us because do you know how before I show it to you, do you know how when you see you know how your school used to say, go home in your school uniform after you've done like a club? Yeah. Not wearing your blazer and then your PE kit. Yeah. This outfit's giving very much blazer than PE kit.
Oh no. Let me see.
Do you know what I mean? It's giving blazer on top of PE kit. This jacket has no business being on top of this outfit.
Do you know what? If he had just taken the blazer off,
yes!
It could be a vibe.
Blazer off, different shoes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I'm sorry, I'm having an issue with all the fits of the trousers of all the men.
I don't like the trousers.
All of them.
Although here they do look good. But I feel like it makes sense because it's a slouchy.
It's true.
The jacket's slouchy, it's too big. Oversized trousers, oversized jacket.
If you work in entertainment, you realise men are short. Like, honestly, average 5'7". This guy, in this trouser, he looks like the trousers are drowning him. He looks like he's a fire. He looks like he's
that black
a short
jacket
king.
off.
Take that black jacket off.
Who saw him leave? His wife saw him leave the house. Get ready to leave the house. He put that black jacket on. She said, yeah.
I think had he taken the jacket off, he could have wore like a black undersleeve.
No,
thing.
I think because I get it. The look being that sort of really relaxed, like you said, almost loungewear-esque like suit. take that ugly black jacket off
No.
and just wear the white blazer. Like, if Prince wore this, we'd be like,
but amazing.
work.
But also, Prince would go in white. He would dip it in purple. He'd be lilac.
But even if Prince wore a cream suit, he would have worn fun shoes.
Yes.
The shoes are so, like, basic tuxedo jacket.
We have to give men.
shoes.
Oh, sorry. We have to give men credit. We have to really think about men's fashion.
Those shoes.
At the moment, they're only taking risks with the clothes. For them, they still can wear their simple
No.
Tom Ford shoes.
I have a real problem with if you're making a statement with your outfit, how could you go put your school shoes on? This outfit is, I did judo and then I have to go home, so I put my blazer and my school shoes back on to get on the bus. All you needed is a backpack. If we had the backpack on, I would have been like, work.
Do you know what? Do you know what? Why not? Why not?
This outfit is cosplay
Why
at this
not?
point. Seth Rogen also did pastels.
God. I just think, so come in a simple suit.
I honestly love that the boys are getting brave. I don't want to see boys in
but that's why I'm
basic
like,
black
that's why we
suits.
need to just do
Another pastel. I don't hate the colour.
His hair
You
is
can't
what's
be wearing
his
the
hair
fucking...
is what's the belt thing? The tumbleweed.
No, it's a cummerbund.
The cummerbund, yeah. It's not
Cummerbund.
Cummerbund. It's not really doing it for me.
It's giving very prompt 1950s.
It's that's the thing.
The hair
and the hair as well.
And then you wore your school shoes. And then you wore your school shoes.
Do you know what?
It has to stop.
Do you know what I just want? Just try, experiment with your jacket. Everything else, just
I'm saying, do the pastel and commit.
So wear your pastel shoes too.
Wear white shoes.
White
Wear
shoes.
white shoes.
But I think that for that particular outfit, he will look like completely like, I've got my corsage. And
Yeah,
to
be fair, you're right. The way the whole thing is styled is giving costume.
Yeah. Whereas
Andrew Garfield wore a very nice colour suit.
Was it like, okay, let me have a look, because I think I may have seen his one.
It's like sunset.
Yes, I think
orange.
he may be my best dressed,
Yeah.
because at the moment all this.
Look
Now
at
that
Oof.
looks good. That looks good.
Oh, it makes me want to be.
That looks good. I just have to wear a tie. Like, that is a good suit. Like,
I feel like he must be wearing like a silk shirt or something, because the ties.
I think it's very nice.
He looks absolutely stunning.
I bet it's like
the colour is
5'7".
really bring out his colour.
What's his height?
We don't know his life. That's not what we're doing. You could do up his light in your bed when you get after the podcast.
Let me just see what his height is. Andrew.
He's not tall.
I mean, none of these boys are.
He's not tall. We know that.
Garfield height. Guess while I check.
5'8".
Oh. Ooh. He's 5'10", shorty.
I told you.
Yeah.
Taller than me.
Shorty. But he looks great. I think he's best dressed.
For the boys, for me.
And I think it works because the black shoes also work because he's wearing a little black shirt. And the colour is not. I liked what he's wearing.
Exactly.
It
the whole.
And
This is a look.
It's not too pastel
It's
as well.
not.
It's
I
like
put on
burnt,
a suit and then I had to put my mum said to put these shoes
burnt
on.
orange terracotta, great, and it goes well on his skin kind of.
I liked this on Jenna Ortega.
She looks nice.
She looks a little bit more grown, shall we say?
Yeah.
But I love the haircut. I love that this is like a slightly warmer colour to her skin colour. So really, she looks stunning. Honestly, I think she looks really, 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 really good. Daisy Jones.
Daisy Jones, yeah.
Looks like a baby Helena Bonham Carter.
Oh my god!
Look, I don't get it. Like, why?
No, and there's no jewelry. Everything's a bit bland.
In the nicest possible way, she looks like the best whore in the best whorehouse in one of those like westerns. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just so costumey.
Yeah, it's not doing it.
Very costumey. Very costumey. I'm not.
No.
I'm not getting it. You're right. No jewelry. Not even a neck.
No necklace. No bracelet.
No
nothing.
bracelet. Nothing. No.
It's not.
Barely noticeable earring.
Okay, this is a bit shady.
I love shade.
When you need to have the body yaddy. If you're gonna be wearing something that's gonna be that corset, I want it to come sex appeal type of thing. And I just don't think she has the body to put it off. No offense.
I just don't think you should be coming to an award show trying to be sexy.
Yeah.
Why are you doing sexy?
No.
It's work. This is literally work for you guys.
Yeah.
What did you think of this?
Kinta's outfit. Let me have a look. I love the colour in a weird way. I love the deep pinks and the black. The boobs is what is like really distracting
Okay, that's
me.
interesting because I had the same feeling. I was like, I
And also
don't
the
hate
little-
this actually.
No, and also the little.
I love the like
the
mermaid,
fishtail, yeah.
the mermaid.
She looks great. I'll be honest. Still, I like
dress.
it.
I
Yeah.
think.
She got jewelry on.
Yeah, she's got some some
Okay.
bracelets. No necklaces, but earrings and a bracelet and lots of
Yeah.
rings. I think for me the issue is right.
Her hair?
The hair's fine. Doesn't.
No, it's a pullback. Yeah.
It's. As somebody said, it's a given quality street. And that's not her fault.
And you know that's strawberry. The strawberry quality street.
It's not her fault.
The pink.
It's just because it's the pink underneath the black lace.
yes.
Like, it just gives like wrapping.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
It's given quality street, but her body looks sick.
Yeah. I'm actually very excited to see how Kint is going to look throughout the award season because you know she's going to be nominated more. She's going to be nominated for SAGs as well. So I feel like she's just getting into her own with this, and I'm excited to see more of her. So
yeah, we live for her.
I don't hate the dress. I think I wasn't a massive fan of the boobs, but I think she looks lovely.
That's a really nice picture.
And I think it was really flattering her figure and her body.
Oh, but honestly, her body looks incredible, and
yeah.
like she is a petite woman,
She's tiny.
but
She's
in
like-
this dress,
she's
she
less-
looks
Yeah, she looks very statuesque.
long. Yeah.
She's like 5 foot. No, she's like, is it? I think she's almost like less than 5 foot.
I don't know why you're asking me like I would know that.
Yeah, no.
I'm not gonna keep that in my head.
No, but I'm
You're
like,
the height person. Not
I
me.
am. I'm not the heightest. I just like to be height aware.
One last outfit before we go. Io's outfit. I've decided I actually don't think I like two pieces on the red carpet.
Let me see.
I don't like it.
Oh.
I think it. I just.
Oh, do you know what? This outfit would be better on the Met Gala.
I don't think it would have been good at the Met Gala either.
No, depending if it was Disney themed, because this is giving me Tinkerbell wearing her gloves to find her Prince Charming.
There's nothing about this that is nice.
Oh
It's a
no,
problem.
it's so annoying. It's not even flattering either.
There's nothing about this that's
And
nice.
the colour isn't that flattering. I remember Lupita Nyong'o is someone you should study if you're like early on.
Like the whatever that structure is.
It's
in
not
the skirt,
supposed. It's not supposed to. Like, it's supposed to cinch at your waist. I don't know what is given at the waist.
She looks beautiful.
She's gorgeous.
She looks absolutely beautiful.
She does. But the even the colour, the pale
I think
blue.
that's her natural hair, which I live for.
Yeah, pale blue grey is not doing it on her skin tone. I need it to be more vibrant and like a bright
And then the
blue.
brown glove.
Yeah,
I
what is
just don't-
that?
I don't understand the
No,
outfit.
I
And
don't.
I know someone will be like, if you saw this on the runway on a little skinny white girl. No, this outfit is ugly, and it would have been ugly on that girl as well.
Oh, it's so annoying.
Not everything you see that. I will say this: just because your stylist goes, it's Armani, doesn't mean that you have to wear it.
The only person that can take stuff on the wrong way and also almost elevate it, Zendaya. And Zendaya has
Naomi
a.
Campbell.
But Naomi Campbell she was on the runway. She's literally walking off the runway to the award show.
Yeah, and
Zendaya is someone who can take an outfit.
Zendaya's stylist
100%.
is who he.
He understands her he understands her style, he understands her attitude, and also she needs to carry it.
I will say, I feel like as well the other problem with people under the age of 25 who do red carpets often
Get aged. They
aged,
age themselves out.
I hate that.
Whereas Zendaya, she knows how to dress beautifully for her age, still be a bit more mature, but still show her youthfulness.
Selena Gomez I feel like this is an older woman's dress.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I think this is an older woman's dress.
It is.
There's nothing flattering about this
the
dress.
The sleeves are not helping.
The cut of the dress, like
I'm having
everything.
the issue with girls who are going with like sleeveless dresses with
no
necklaces, no jewelry, nothing.
Oh, what do you call that?
No,
strapless.
Yeah,
a
no
strapless dress with no neck
jewelry. Or just something to like provide that accentuation of your collarbone to your breast. Basically, it just feels a bit bland.
There's not one flattering angle of this dress.
No.
I feel like the colour, like it being dark as well, it just ages her.
Yeah.
She's not that old. This is
really
honestly, this is a dress that a mum would wear.
No. Like, that's what Kate Blanchett should have worn.
I mean, Kate Blanchett would never wear this. Kate Blanchett is more of a style icon than that. She would never wear this on the runway.
Sorry, that's Claire Danes.
No, Claire Danes would wear that. She should have worn that.
Yeah, Claire Danes, that's what I meant. Claire Danes should have worn that. Kate Blanchett, on the other hand, beautiful dresser. I feel like I'm excited about the award season. We're back to kind of like almost a normal award season. We can review more of the outfits. It's been a bit of a hit and miss with the outfits this year, but I love that we're reviewing both the men and the women.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to like
just but also the men are giving variety for us to be able to do
for
that.
once.
Yeah.
Actually, it's quite a new thing for men to be giving us variety. And that's not to say that there weren't men doing classic black suits, but I'm not gonna feature them because it's not worth my time.
No, it'd be like this guy's wearing a Tom Ford, this guy's wearing a Calvin Klein,
exactly.
this guy's wearing Ralph Lauren.
It's the exact same jacket.
This guy's wearing Gucci.
Exact same trousers. Listen, I want a man who's gonna go out on that red carpet, and I think you have to be a bit of a star to do that. She is.
But
she's absolutely.
On that note of beautiful dresses and even beautiful gowns and even beautiful awards, should we move on to the review of the week?
Review of the week.
Woo!
Our review of the week is I Hate Suzie Too.
Yeah.
On Sky, starring Billie Piper.
Yeah.
And Billie Piper.
Billie Piper all the way.
It is a Billie Piper vehicle.
It is. But written by Lucy Preble.
Lucy Preble, who, as we'll get, I honestly think the script for this really, it just zings. It's so fucking well written.
We're going to have different views on this one
got
today.
Into the first episode and I said I'm actually really nice. I'm really happy to be back in this world because some of the stuff is just so like, it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the juxtapositions between like what's going on with Suzie and what is happening currently is just so, I don't know, Lucy Preble.
She's right. So if you don't know who Lucy Preble is, she's a writer and was part of Succession and still part of Succession.
Yeah, she writes for Succession.
And also writes for this show.
Created the show Billie Piper.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like almost a Billie Piper production. Billie Piper is a well-known British actor. She was in Doctor Who.
Stop. Billie Piper was a musician first and foremost.
Yeah, I was gonna get there because
start from the beginning of her life.
She was a musician and she sang.
Why are we gonna stay all night?
Because we want to. Because we want to. And so that is a song that she was the most famous for. How old were we when that came to?
Literally 7 years old.
Exactly. So she was more of a teen star, and then I
think she would have been like 16, 17 when that song came out.
Yeah, and then she went into acting.
So Doctor Who.
And
this is how my story fits into it. Shall I tell it now?
You might as well.
Billie Piper shooting her, I want to say, not her first season, but David Tennant's first season as Doctor Who.
Yeah. Shot
at my old estate.
Really?
The summer that my mother died.
Oh my gosh, that's the link.
So,
oh my gosh.
My mother was dead. My house was I don't even know what you would call a marketplace. People coming in and out all times of night. It was summertime. Doctor Who were filming on my estate, and they had on my landing, so on the floor of my building, they had this massive light so they could shoot nighttime shots.
Oh.
And there was a tent in the park where they would put the actors and stuff.
Yeah.
And after a couple of days, we heard that they were shooting for Doctor Who, and we went to the tent because. Listen, street urchins. One thing about street urchins, they don't give a heck.
Yeah,
when I was a kid, you couldn't tell me I can ask a question. Yeah. We went to the tent and we're like, what are you guys doing? They're like, oh, we're filming a TV show. I was like, I know you.
So what's a Billie Piper?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was like, I know you. You're Billie Piper. She's like, yeah. I was like, oh, that's so nice. Can we take a picture of you? She was like, yeah.
Where's the picture?
God knows. Shoshanna, I probably binned it.
Yeah.
Or I think maybe my friend had taken it, her family, someone has gotten the picture somewhere. And I honestly feel like we did have pictures and we threw them away. Yeah. But we took a picture with Billie Piper and with David Tennant.
Wow, with both.
They were just there in the park. True. And we were just there. And that light, meant that when you're a kid, I don't know about you, but I used to play out a lot, and the rules were when it's dark you come home. But because of that light, it meant we could play out for slightly longer. So we would play in the car park downstairs, and my nan would basically, or someone would come out on the balcony and be like, "Come upstairs" when it was time. Yeah. And I remember just it's very weird and so childlike now. I can think of it having a really fun summer, but also being it was my mum's funeral. Yeah. And I just remember being outside so much because like they would just get us out of the house because they were like, it's very depressing in here. And they would be shooting all of these scenes which like I can now go back and like watch those early episodes of Doctor Who and be like, that's my house. And like I was probably in the car park when it happened. So like, because she didn't have to be nice to us.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, like I'm sure we weren't the only people going in and like,
hey.
Yeah. And also it was her first like acting thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And she was just so lovely to us. And I always been like, something about that girl. Something about that girl.
She does. I mean, when you watch this show, you see I Hate Suzie 1 and Suzie 2. You see that she has, a star power. Like
I didn't know the bitch could dance.
Neither can I.
I
was surprised.
And honestly, one thing about me, lads, you do a dance in a show, that show becomes my favourite show.
It's not my favourite, but it's...
Gary Haji, in the last episode, they have a dance sequence. I cried.
Wow.
Dance for me is so, like, powerful. I don't know what it is. It's just so, it really moves me. Like, West Side Story is my favourite musical because there's so many dance numbers. And when this started, I didn't know anything about the second season. But when it opens and they're already in the dance show, I was like, you got me.
Yeah, I was very intrigued.
You got me.
Basically, I Hate Suzie Series 1, it starts off with this washed up actor called Susie Pickles, and the whole story is that it is found out that a photo...
She washed up in that first episode. I feel
she was
like
like a D-list...
She's honest. She's in a series.
She's in a series, but a series very similar to Doctor Who, like a sci-fi show.
Yeah.
Because I know that because I was in Comic-Con when they were filming.
Okay.
Yeah. But again, my small claim to fame...
Let's hear yours.
But I never met her.
6 degrees of separation. How do you know Billie Piper?
But what I will say is that they filmed it while I was in Comic-Con and she was...
So you can reveal you were at Comic-Con.
Okay, it was Comic-Con and they were filming scenes from that episode where her character, Susie, is in a sci-fi show similar to something like a Doctor Who, and she's at the convention talking to fans.
They mine a lot from Billie Piper's actual life.
Oh, 100%.
Because the character of Susie Pickles is also a person who came into acting through being a musician.
Yeah, exactly. So it feels also biographical, apart from the big conflict or the big conflict in series 1 was that photos of her leaked in a sexual compromising position with a man that was not her husband, and you know that it's not her husband because the guy is black,
a big black dick,
and
it's quite literally like, but that's what the photo that leaks is her sucking off.
And the husband is not
Can we talk about her husband for a second?
Yeah, her husband is played by Reese. I was gonna say ick, and it's not.
Yeah, because he gave you the ick.
No, her husband is played by Daniel Ings.
No one is called Reese. Cobb.
And Cobb is his name. If you've seen his face, he was in early seasons of The Crown and also
yes, he was. Yeah, he was Prince Philip's like best mate.
Who kind of was philandering. Yeah.
I hate him.
Oh yeah, his character he was a dick in series 1, but he was a dicker in series 2.
He's terrifying, and I think one of the things I like about I Hate Suzie is that they don't outright call him an abusive spouse, but like everything about the way he behaves in that put me on edge.
Yeah.
And one thing about I Hate Suzie, I think the mood that you're in when you watch it is you're on edge.
Yeah.
The way it's shot, the way it moves, the pace of it puts you on edge. But like the character of Cobb particularly, like I want to say like congratulations to him for portraying this character in such a skin crawling way, but also I'm like, maybe it's because it's who you are. I don't know, it's so powerful, but like he is awful.
Yeah. And in series 1, you kind of see the unraveling of their relationship after this photo is revealed. Susie has to admit that she was having an affair with, was it a friend's husband or just it
was a co-star.
Yeah. And then I think the show ends, and it's just Susie in her. I think it's close to say that there are some like mental health issues that they don't really touch on them massively, but you can see the impact of it come to life on the show.
I think what you get from that first season is the aftermath and the impact of something like that happening to you, which is like suddenly you go from sort of vaguely famous to your face is splashed across every single tabloid in a negative light. A personal issue, which is like you cheated on your husband. Most people get to deal with that privately. Suddenly broadcast to everyone on the planet. Sorry. And everybody has an opinion about you. And I imagine it makes it so much harder
Yeah.
to deal with something like that.
Yeah.
Because if a husband takes her back, everyone's like, you're the dude who took back your wife after she publicly cheated on you.
Yeah.
But equally, Suzie is like a very specific person in that, like, she grew up working class. She has changed the way she presents herself to be able to move in these like entertainment spaces. And that means that she's never truly herself. And they explore that a lot more in the second season, but you get to see hints of that in the first season when she goes back to visit her family and they're all very much working class, and it's something that she keeps at arm's length. But equally, if she hadn't been raised like that, she wouldn't have the talent that she has. She wouldn't realise that's what she wanted to do. And so, like, it's a conflict for her, I think, who she was and who she is.
Yeah.
And then equally who she is as an actress, a mother, a wife, a lover, a friend. Like, she's not being true to herself, and it makes it quite hard to be good at any of those other things when you're not being real.
Yeah, and that's why as a character story it's very interesting. Series 1 I felt was very interesting, and I think it was a very interesting departure for Sky as well, because Sky never really did dramas of that kind of, no offense, caliber, or things that were probably...
Dragon Sky in 2023, we said we're not leaving them alone, they're getting it.
But it's the kind of show that you would expect from a HBO, but with a different actress, an American actress. Whereas this was it was very like, I don't want to say art house, that's the wrong word, but it was very quirky in the way it was shot.
It was authored.
Yes.
Very authored.
Yeah, you had like dance scenes that happened. I think it was at the end of one of the episodes where it just started, and it was just very... It could have been like done by an independent film. Like
it's very authored. It's almost like, you know, when people talk about the impact of Fleabag.
Yes.
And what Fleabag did for like authored pieces, which basically said to people like, have free reign, like tell the story you want to tell, the way you want to tell it. Yeah. And that's why we have stuff like I May Destroy You. It's why we have I Hate Suzie. Is because like people really we're telling this story, but like if we want to have a scene, like a fantasy scene, we're going to have it. Yeah. Like, we're not going to be like, oh, we need to justify this.
And it's not within the genre. Like,
in I May Destroy You, they have a whole episode that's a flashback. And, like, I think, you know, 5 years ago, it would have been much harder to justify, oh, we're going to have an episode that breaks from the structure of our story. Yeah. Whereas with Fleabag, I feel like the door opened, and Fleabag was so well received that everyone was sort of encouraged to be like, open the doors to your story, like tell your story in whatever wacky way it comes to you, essentially. And that's why we have so many brilliant pieces. Like, obviously, McKay Cole equally
exactly. I was going to say,
so I don't doubt for a second we would have got it
regardless.
But I think commissioners and channels being open to telling stories in a non-linear way, because up until then, I think people really relied on the tenets of your genre bringing in an audience. Like, if you're a crime show, you know, at the end of this episode, the crime will be solved. But nowadays, I think you could tell a crime story. It's like, oh, you're not going to get the answers to this until season 8.
I'll wait for it.
Yeah, and you will be on the edge of their seats.
Exactly.
And not only that, the channel would trust the like production company, the filmmakers, the writers, the directors to tell that story, as opposed to probably breathing down their neck like, we need an answer because the audience are going to want an answer. We've got to give them an answer. You can't wait 8 seasons to give them an answer.
Yeah.
Think of like something like Final Line of Duty.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it was a great series 1, and it finished in a kind of a bit of a cliffhanger where Suzie discovered that she may be pregnant. She discovers that she is pregnant. And it kind of, you see her peed on the stick, seeing the pregnancy outcome, and I think basically just swearing like crap. Or how have I end up in this situation?
Is the baby supposed to be her husband's?
No.
Whose baby is it?
Some other guy.
Okay.
And I don't know, I can't remember who the guy is. He's mentioned briefly at the beginning of series 2 because...
They mentioned the person?
I think so, yeah, because wasn't she on the phone with that person in the beginning?
I don't remember.
But anyway, a couple of really interesting characters to include. Some of the supporting cast includes her son, who is deaf. I love the portrayal of the deaf community, the respect that is given, but also just how human it felt.
It's not a gimmick.
No.
It's not something that like is a theme of an episode. No. It's just a fact that their son is deaf.
Yeah,
that's it.
She has the son has two able hearing. I don't know if that's how you describe it, but 2 hearing parents.
Yeah,
and they communicate with their son through sign language,
Yeah.
and that's just how it is. And
which is what you would do if
Yeah.
you had a child who was deaf.
yeah,
How else are you going to
how else can you do it? Yeah, it was just done just in a very natural way. It wasn't a thing. And then the agent, which is like Susie's best friend, she has a very interesting character in both
Love
series.
Love
Throughout
that actress.
exactly throughout the first series, the agent discovers that she no longer wants to be an agent. Her name is Naomi, and it's played by Leila Farzad. Leila Farzad. But that's kind of rounds up the main cast really.
Oh, and Bailey, we should probably mention, who is her original ex. She was married before she married Cobb to Bailey, who is several years older than her. Was married at the time that they started.
That may be the baby's father.
Seeing each other, and then
he
was an alcoholic, and or a drug addict, I can't remember,
Yeah.
both maybe, and they parted ways, and then she married Cobb and had her son Frank, who she adores.
So series 2 kind of opens up with her, kind of the outcome of her finding out she's pregnant. She starts to take
it's also still the fallout of this photo leaking and essentially destroying her career.
Yeah.
She had in series 1 a opportunity to be the voice of a Disney princess, which I think falls through because of the drama around this photo leaking.
Also, I will say that when the show came out, maybe not in 2020 because the show came out in during lockdown, but I think the show was probably written around the time when, leaked photos could just make or break a career of an actress or an
I
actor.
think leaked photos still could, depending on who you are.
That is true. Well, I feel like people are more forgiving.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think it depends on who you are and what the photos are. I think that's why they're very deliberate to be like, not only is Susie, it's not compromising pictures of Susie by herself, it's compromising pictures of Susie having sex with someone who's not her husband.
Yeah.
So there's like two parts to that scandal, which is like you're cheating on your husband, and then also there are pictures of it. Because realistically, who did you take the pictures for? The person that you would send to is the person that you're sucking off. So why are there pictures of this? And they never explore this. Like, what if he's the one who took the pictures of her? That's exploitative. How come she's bearing the brunt? Because he seems to be doing absolutely okay with his life.
Yeah.
Like, it hasn't negatively affected him. And I think they never actually name him in the thing, and that's why he could get away with it. But like, it's only bad for her, and I think that the story was explored specifically for that thing of like, why do women always have to bear the brunt of something that's not done on their own?
Yeah.
But I feel like someone who's like, if Megan Thee Stallion's nudes leaked, she could ride that out.
Oh, I think she could, yeah.
I think if someone like Taylor Swift's nudes leaked, it would be completely different.
For a sub-part of her audience, a sub-part of her fan base. But
I think that's the problem, isn't it? It's like, the fans of Megan Thee Stallion are, as a person who is, like, you think of like, bold, modern, feminist, if her nudes leak, her audience is saying, whoever leaked those nudes is a fucking dickhead.
Yeah.
She's perfect still.
Yeah.
I think for someone like Taylor Swift, as much as she's trying to tell people like she's a grown-up and like, obviously she's a grown-up, she should be able to do whatever she wants. I think there would be a big swathe of her fan base that would feel betrayed that Taylor Swift has ever had sex.
Yeah.
Which, like...
look at her track record.
We're not doing that.
No, okay.
We're not doing that to Taylor Swift now, because...
We don't have time, let's continue.
We're not doing that. Like, because isn't that exactly the problem?
Yeah.
Saying that a woman who's dated a lot of men equals that she's a slag. That's exactly the problem. And she recently, this is a perfect example, she recently talked about how when she was on Ellen's show, Ellen made a gimmick of being like, we're going to show pictures of people, you just tell us yes or no if you've dated them. Right? And
people forget that Ellen was like sly,
in
problematic.
The interview, Taylor Swift said repeatedly, like, this is making me uncomfortable. I don't want to do this. I'm much more than the people that I date. And when you do stuff like this, it makes me feel like I'm not, like, I can't stand on my own 2 feet. The thing about me is who I date. And Ellen continues to be like, right, so just ring this bell if you fuck them, essentially.
Yeah.
That is a perfect example of the fact that, like, for women, your sexuality has to be in keeping with how people want you to perceive, like, want to perceive you. So you can't be, like, if they, like, for someone like Taylor Swift, they think the public perception is she presents herself as almost like sweet innocent baby. And so thinking about the fact that she's actually an adult woman who probably has a healthy sex life is in contradiction to that thing. And we want to punish her for that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, how dare you pretend that you're a good girl when you're not?
I know.
But why would it be bad for her to have a healthy relationship, like be able to forge healthy, like that's exactly what I think they're exploring with I Hate Suzie, is that we act like we're very accepting and progressive as a society, but as soon as we can punish a woman, we will punish a woman.
Oh yeah, 100%. This is society, man.
I feel very strongly about it.
I feel like you probably have more positive views on. It's basically for me to say that, oh, Taylor Swift has had sex and slept with loads of guys because of her dating history, which is not the case. So
but I don't blame you, because I honestly joke. I think that joke is so pervasive.
Yeah.
That's of course where your mind goes immediately. The joke is Taylor Swift dates a lot of dudes.
Yeah.
And that's why she's popular. The woman has won how many? Awards. Yeah. How many concerts are sold out? Yeah.
And then people still only talk about.
She's an artist. Like I'm not. I don't listen to her music, but like I can't deny the fact that she
has an impact.
Has a massive fan base. People absolutely love her, and she, for what she does in this current climate where like people think pop music is one certain type of thing, what she does is quite different actually, and the fact that she's still able to draw a pop audience to her.
She has a lot.
Hats off to. Absolutely hats off to her.
Yeah.
And she's like roughly the same age as us.
True, yeah.
So, and she's done all of that and she's the same age as me. Fucking A, dude.
I know.
And it's, I feel like the basic reading that we've been taught is like, either you like Taylor Swift or you don't. And if you don't like her, you Swiftie or Swift out. Okay? Yeah, and you have, your argument when you don't like her is like, yeah, but she takes lots of dudes and she's talentless and she's basic and she's blonde. And when you interrogate it, you're like, oh, these aren't my views specifically. It's just what I've been told. I don't know anything about the bit.
And I think, going back to say I Hate Suzie, I think when you see Series 1, a lot of it is the limiting beliefs that happen post the scandal. And then Series 2 is the limiting beliefs and the aftermath from the scandal, but then now the internal conflicts that she's facing with herself, with her ex-husband, because she's going through a divorce.
Yeah, I think they're very public conflict. Public conflict, not to the public, but in the series. Yeah. Like, the conflict of the series is they're trying to figure out what this divorce is going to look like.
And they make this really, like, significant point about, you know, Suzie wants Frank, her son, for Christmas. That is, like, the defining factor of this divorce, which, perfectly honest, is quite... Okay, it's very important because Christmas is a very important holiday. You want to spend time with your family. And the grand scheme of the whole divorce, I think maybe the focus should be more on the custody aspect.
I think...
But it was symbolic. I feel like it was symbolic for something.
And I actually don't think that Suzie... I think the interesting thing about the way that story develops is I don't think Suzie anticipated that there would be this embittered divorce.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think she thought that, like, what would happen is, like, we don't date anymore, but we look after our son, and that's it.
Yeah.
When Cobb comes back with, I want the house, I want half your earnings, I want to keep Frank, I think for her, that's the first time it really hits her that she's going through a divorce, and, like, actually, she's gonna lose this thing.
By the way, I love how that was shot. I love that I love that divorce scene. Divorce I do not love, but I love how that was presented in terms of like every single mitigation, every single clause he wanted, and it was like a pile up of like, I want this, I want the house, I want Christmas, I want his the son's birthday, I want him to have all the time, basically he wants full custody. He wants to take everything.
But I don't think she anticipates at the beginning that that's where this thing is going.
No. And you can see in her franticness, like, oh, of course he can have this and he can have that, and then. You know, he said something else to trigger her because of was it the birthday or the Christmas?
Yeah, in season 1, at one point Frank is misbehaving and Suzie spanks him.
Yeah.
Which is a very American way to say she gave him a smack.
Yeah.
She smacked him, and when they're going back and forth about her being able to have him at Christmas or her being able to have him half the week, whatever they're trying to figure out, Cobb basically says, if you keep pushing, I'm going to tell everyone that you smacked him.
Yeah.
And then you're going to lose him completely. And I think that in that moment she realises that, like, this isn't as simple as just saying, I don't want to be with you.
Yeah.
Give me my son. It's like, because she doesn't want to be Cobb, he's going to hurt her.
Yeah.
And
he knows where to hurt her is with Frank.
Is the problem.
Yeah.
Is that he is such an awful human being that, like, simply being like this. And on the one hand, I get it. He was married to a woman. She cheated on him. And now she's leaving him. And she's not talking to him and wants her son. You'd probably be like, how am I getting the raw end of the stick here? You did the bad thing. You should be punished. But his idea of punishing her is personal and is cruel.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is the reason why she left him, because he was always cruel. I don't think he was ever... Like, in the first episode, literally the first episode is maybe the nicest he is throughout the series.
And the minute the reveal of the scandal and the affair happens, that's it.
He's very...
vindictive.
Yeah, he's very vindictive and insidious. And I think what I liked across that second season is that, like, Suzie literally can't speak to him. No. Like, she's so scared of him, and that they leave it till the very last episode. There is when you finally have the two of them in a room. She's completely avoiding him because, like, she's literally having a panic attack when she thinks about being around him, being near him. Even in the mitigation scene, like, the door is giving her anxiety because she knows he's beyond that door. Yes. Like, it's they've become such adversaries in that second season that you should, like, it's quite clear from that there is not going to be a compromise. There's not going to be an answer to this. There's not going to be a solution to this.
Any compromise,
you hate each other now.
Exactly. And I think you could see that the internal compromise that she has to make, because I think that scene with the Christmas and the smacking, and she's like, initially she wants to say no, but then something in her mind is like, I can't say no because he's got more power over me. And you can see her mind like turning, thinking like, I want to speak up, but I can't. Yeah. And I think there were some real powerful scenes, especially around that dynamic between the husband and wife. And then when you bring in Naomi and the friend, that is when I find it interesting. And there were some things that Cobb mentioned, because he definitely was attacking her character. He called Suzie a narcissist. Yeah. And the only time I really saw that trait was with Naomi.
Yeah, no, for sure. But here's the thing that I find really interesting, right? Yeah. Is talking about the nature of relationships. If our relationship as mates, because Shoshanna and I are mates.
Well,
today is the last day of the friendship. If Shoshanna and I are mates, and the nature of our friendship had always been that you do stuff for me. Yeah. Is it narcissistic for me to fall into that old pattern of asking you for stuff and expecting you to do stuff for me?
No, it's
sort of like Shoshanna and I have spoken about the fact that we're both older siblings. Yeah. And as an older sibling, it's so ingrained that you keep your siblings together and you do stuff for your siblings that, like, someone else coming into it could be like, wow, your sibling doesn't even say thank you, doesn't say please. They ask for stuff and they get stuff. That's not normal. But it's so intrinsic to your relation. Like, that is just how you guys relate to each other now that you've grown to accept it. And I think the thing with Suzie and Naomi is that Naomi being her agent, their relationship has always been, I ask for you for stuff and you get it done. And then you take the agent out of it and they just sort of thought, oh, okay, now we'll be equals. But your relationship, like, literally almost on a, you know how they train dogs? I don't know what the word for it is, but you know how they train dogs where they ring a bell and the dog, that's how the dog knows to wait dinner time. It's so intrinsic. Yes. Yeah. When you see me, your thought is, let me ask you for stuff that I need, because you're a person who does stuff that I need.
You know, what can I do of service for you?
And they're both bad for that, because I think equally, Naomi's like, we should not spend so much time together because I need to set my boundaries. Immediately, it's like, how can I help when she gets there? Yeah. You want me to message your husband for you?
Oh, come on.
Agrees to do it.
It was Naomi actually suggested, I'll message him because he's been a dick.
But that's again, that's exactly what low-key Suzie expected when she called Naomi. Is, you will fix this for me. Yeah. but I have a sibling, and it's only the two of us, and I often feel like my sister calls me for answers.
Yeah.
Like, how can we fix this?
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes she forgets I'm also
a human being.
Not even that, but like, there's only 6 years between us. I'm not like a 60-year-old grown lady. I don't have sometimes she'll ask me something. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. I
don't know.
Yeah.
And with Susie and Naomi, I feel like Naomi is just like, I will figure this out for you.
Yeah.
And that's what they've always done.
And I think it's because Susie comes across so fragile.
She's fragile.
She's incredibly fragile, but then also Naomi is going through moments of vulnerability. You know, her trying IVF, her wanting to have her own child, and that feels like it just falls to the wayside because she just has to be in service and Susie all over again.
I really like the scene where Susie calls Naomi and Naomi's literally in the hospital and still takes the call and is still trying to be. And I was like, that's exactly that relationship between an older sibling and a younger sibling. Fuck my shit. What do you need?
Yeah. It's a sacrifice. It's the eldest daughter syndrome.
And the interesting thing is, watching them together, I don't feel bad for Naomi because you don't set your boundaries. It's your fault.
No, exactly.
Both of you are equally as bad as each other. The easy thing is to say, Susie's a narcissist. You're not acknowledging the fact that you
allow her to be.
You open the door. You could have said to Susie, "Hi, I'm in the hospital.
Yeah. Can I talk to you? You wouldn't even pick up the phone. I'll phone you after the procedure.
Hi, I'm in the... Like, it would be one thing if every single time Susie called her, she was like, "Hi, Susie, I'm not able to do this." But Susie continued to plan it on her. Then you're like, Susie's a piece of shit. But Naomi's like, "Don't worry about me."
Yeah. And that's where...
But secretly wants people to worry about her. And that's on you. People can't be mind readers.
Exactly. And that's where, during the show, you start to see Naomi start to take her agency on boundaries, but not with Susie.
No.
But it's with the relationship with the husband, with Cobb, where she's talking to him more and definitely overstepping her boundaries.
Yeah, that 100%. Conversation that she has with Cobb but I felt everything about that interaction was like, odd, this is going to be problematic.
Had this series been beyond 3 episodes, 100%.
It 100%. Was. I was in that moment. I was trying to think of any of my friends who has a baby daddy or a husband who I would go and sit and eat a whole meal with. I was thinking the same thing. And have a chat.
No limit. I would. There's no one. Honestly,
I don't even like them. That's the problem. I don't want to sit and have dinner with you. I have to collect the boy. Collect the boy and go.
My only link to a friend's partner is through my friend. So I would never spend, as we talked about in the very early episode of the podcast, I'm less likely to spend one-on-one time with a man. That's not my partner. Sorry, I'm not being conservative, but it's just reality. It's just a reality.
That's not even the reason why I wouldn't. If my friend's beefing someone, I'm beefing that person. So I can't sit with you. Yeah. If my friend's crying, how am I sitting with you eating bangers and mash?
Yeah.
Laughing, joking, mumbling, cackling.
No, that part didn't make sense, and
it felt like, and I wonder if they thought maybe they would have more. I'm so curious to find out because obviously the first season is 4 hours.
Yeah.
Split into half hours, so it's 8 episodes. Yeah. Second season, 3 hour-long episodes. Yeah. And I would be really interested to know whether they knew when they first started storyboarding that, formatting that series, it was going to be 3 hours, or if they thought maybe there was going to be more, because that conversation with Cobb and Naomi felt like, oh, something is going to happen as a result of this. And the thing that happens is just that, like, you know, Susie tells Cobb it was Naomi who was texting the whole time, and then Cobb reveals that he offered his sperm to Naomi, which equally... What? When he did that, I was like, what the fuck? Oh, I've completely why would I want to be connected? Like, I'm honestly trying to think about my friend's husband leaving my friend, taking her son, and then being like, I could help. You could help who? Who told you I even need
your
help?
son? We could have stepkids.
Who even said that? Not stepkids, half siblings. Sorry. About stepkids. We're not even getting married. He's just giving me sperm to put inside of me.
I'm so finished.
Do you want your son to have a sibling? Because he's about to have one.
Oh no, I'm done.
I'd actually lose my mind.
It's just that one is a bit too twisted for me. On the duration part, I have a lot of questions.
That's a murder-suicide.
Yeah. No, that's the end of the friendship.
Murder-suicide.
That's the end of the friendship.
No, I'm so sorry.
100%.
That's murder-suicide.
End of
If
the
my friend
friendship.
comes to me and says, guess what, I'm having a baby with you.
Huh?
Murder-suicide. Murder-suicide.
That's not even, like, girls' code, it's done. I had a lot of questions around duration of this show because, like you said, yeah, the first season, 8 episodes, 30 minutes long. It was positioned as a comedy drama type of thing. Then it changed to 3 hours, 1 hour episodes, which was then giving me drama aspect, like an hour long show. It was giving me drama vibes. However, the first episode watching it, I was thinking, I'm very intrigued to see why this is an hour. And halfway through, I felt like this should have stopped. But then there wasn't enough story in that half an hour to make it interesting.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it got extended.
Well, you think it was going to be 1 hour?
No, I think it should have been 6
you
episodes.
think it was going to be 6 half hours and they said make it an hour?
But I think there was enough story. But that's BS because Lucy Preble is a very skilled writer. She could have 100% made those episodes chunky. But I just felt from what I watched in episode 1, by the time you got to the halfway point, I was getting bored. And there was something really going on.
I wasn't bored. A colleague of mine said something which was really interesting, which was like the way that this is shot and the story and the pace and how intense it is in half hours feels manageable. In an hour, you kind of want a break. Yes. And that's why the hours feel like, oh, why is this not over yet? Because it's a lot
to take in. Yeah.
It's a lot to take in, and you can imagine how you would have split those up, like especially in that first episode where it's like they're at the dance show and then they're with the lawyers. Lawyers honestly could have been a separate episode. Because it would have been an entire episode, which is what it felt like, because it's an entire second half. Yeah. You don't come back to the dance show, so you can see where perhaps they had storylined 6 half hours. Yeah. And then, I don't know whether it's the production... I imagine the production company doesn't get to make that choice. No. I imagine it's probably Sky being like, we want hour-longs. And they sat down and they said, well, we've got 3 hours. Yeah. That's what... We don't have 6 hours.
Yeah, we have 3 hours. Unless you're willing to pay us for the extra 3 hours to make 3 hour long. And that's why I feel it was weird why it was so short of a season. And I think they should have just positioned it as a Christmas special because it was so Christmas focused around like the whole, conflict and dilemma of whether Susie will have time with the son
Frank
for Christmas. To me, it was just giving me like, this is supposed to be like a Christmas special. And really a Christmas special is only 1 or 2 episodes at most. So
special is 1 episode.
Yeah, that's why I was just so confused as to how they were trying to position this show, and I don't know whether this is going to get a series 3.
It'd be interesting if it was an hour and a half.
Like a film, was it 2
hours? Yeah, like feature length. Oh, no, I don't think 2. I think it should have been an hour and a half.
I don't think I could have watched it for an hour and a half. Because I have thoughts that may be different to yours about how you enjoyed the show. Because for me, I'm not going to give it a very high rating because I didn't enjoy it. And I'm questioning whether it's going to get a series 3.
I don't think it will. I actually think...
Because they feel like a wrapping up. That's why it was 3 episodes.
I honestly think that they had 6 episodes. I don't think it was initially pitched as a returning series. I think it was made... The series did well and they said, oh, we'll have you back for a second season. Yeah. And then they said, well, here are some things that we want to tie up. But we don't necessarily want to start a new story for Susie in second series. And I think it could have been 1 feature-length ep. Yeah. Because I think it was just, I think that's what this series was anyway. It was wrapping up a lot of story. It didn't set up a new story.
No, it didn't.
What was new that was set up? Nothing.
The dance show?
That's not story. That's just
That's the premise. That's a location.
It's a vehicle, really, to explore where Susie's at mentally at this point. Yeah. And equally what it means to be... And that's one thing I also like about the show. Is like, it comments on fame. And the thing about Susie Pickles is she's always wanted to be famous. Yeah. She's always wanted to be a star. She genuinely is talented. But there's a difference between fame and talent. Yes. In our modern age. Yeah. And, like, the most famous people aren't always the most talented, and the most talented people aren't always the most famous. And I think it could be really difficult when you know you're talented to have to be relegated to the the bush for one show a year.
Yeah.
When there are people who are up here on TV getting guest spots on movies, and you're like, why the fuck is she famous and I'm not? It doesn't make sense.
And to reference, the Bush is a small theatre in West London.
Bush is a brilliant theatre.
It's a great theatre, yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like, if you go from being in Doctor Who to the Bush,
it's different. Yeah.
Billie Piper, interestingly, did Doctor Who, didn't do a lot of TV afterwards, did a brilliant production of Yerma at the National, and it was for me, it was watching Yerma that I thought, oh, this woman's actually quite a great actress.
Don't know, she's very talented.
Doctor Who is very broad TV.
Yeah.
You know, you're not giving electrifying performances in Doctor Who. That's not what it's about. So if you want to prove your mettle, I think in this city of London, if you want to prove your mettle, if you can't get up on stage and move people, you're not, you know. Yeah.
And I think the show actually demonstrated, show demonstrated that she is a triple threat. She can sing from her, past life. She can act and she can dance. Because when I saw her shaking, I was like, "Whoa!" I did not see her twerking.
The first dance in that first episode, where she's like the clown.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, the thing that people forget about dance, much like acting, much like singing, is you need stage presence.
Yeah.
You can't be like, I've just learnt the moves, so I'm doing the dance. People need to want to look at you.
Yeah.
And there is something about her that's so compelling. Yeah. And like in each of those dances, in the last episode, I was like watching it and also doing work, and I actually stopped.
Yeah, and looked so
whenever she was dancing, because I was like, there is something about her. Yeah. And also, like, shout out to the director, because the way all of those dance scenes were shot was so, like... I have a real thing about dance, as I said earlier. Like, I love dance. But I feel like so often it's filmed in a way that's, like, doesn't... Like, the camera needs to be moving.
You need to be immersed into the choreography.
I just think dance is about movement. And when the camera is static, you don't...
Yes.
It doesn't work. The camera needs to move like the dancers are moving.
It reminds me of this TikTok that I saw of, like... Of course, everyone loves to dance on TikTok, but there's this like couple that dancing on TikTok, and the cameraman is dancing with them, and the cameraman is better than the dancers. And someone wrote a message going like, "Right, even the cameraman is doing it better than them." But I'm telling you, the aftermath looks great because the camera is moving, they're moving. He's making them look amazing.
There was ages ago, I think this was in 2021 or maybe in 2020. There was a TikToker that was quite popular who was Asian, and he would, I don't know, do a dance to like Ray J's One Wish, and the person filming it, the production of like, right, we're gonna wait till it's raining. Yeah. When you jump in the pond, I'm gonna flip the camera. Like the whole thing leads to that end product where you're like, this is so dynamic. Yeah. And so often people don't film dance. They feel like the dance is enough.
Yeah, but actually,
and it's not.
It's like everything around it. Like that's what that Daniel Craig video, which we forgot to mention as like an interesting cultural moment of last year, did really well because it was very immersive, and it was. I mean, of course, you see Daniel Craig, who you don't really expect to dance
Love
even
Daniel
that way.
Craig.
Just like move his body, but then also everything is moving around him, and he's just so dynamic. But everything around him is also dynamic. Yeah. And then you see the vodka, you know.
It's interesting. It is as a comparison to
Wednesday.
No,
because I haven't thought about that.
I haven't seen that. Well, I've seen the clip, but I'm gonna wait till I know the context for it because we'll come back to that, I'm sure. But in terms of like music videos with famous people dancing in them, Christopher Walken does a Chemical Brothers, I think, video. Romance, and if you look at the way the camera is set up in that and the way the camera is set up in the Daniel, it's very different. Yeah. And like, I think it speaks so much to like the time. Like usually you just stuck a camera in the front. It was like people did their dances, and then you went right, we got it. Yeah. And nowadays it's like just creating the dynamic. And I rewatched a bit of West Side Story over Christmas because it's one of my favorite movies. And the way that where the camera is angled for certain dances, I think just makes them feel so much more like, oh, I wish I was there.
And when we say West Side Story, the original.
Yes, of course. I don't know anything about the... But I will say this. What they do in that Disney, in the new version, it's all one shot, the dance in the gymnasium, which is very impressive.
That's
actually.
good, yeah. I loved that scene where they're outside New York streets and they dance. I think it's the
Opening. The first
opening,
dance.
not the opening. No, it's towards the middle with the main woman.
When they sing America.
I think it's America. Yeah, that was
It's the best sequence of the original.
It
One
is,
of the best sequences
yeah.
of the original as well.
It's
apart from the
song.
dance in gymnasium, which is
classic. But yeah, that showed me, that dance scene made me think, oh, she knows how to dance. When I saw it advertised on, I think it was like a Sky Social clip that I saw, and they kind of did like a side by side of the behind the scenes rehearsal and then the show. I was like, I feel like this is not perfect timing, because we're still in this like phase of seeing the Wednesday dance clip, which it'll make more sense when we watch the show. But this Wednesday dance clip has blown up, and the dance scene in episode 1 was giving me some kind of not premonitions, giving me some like nods to
like a parallel.
Wednesday's one, in just some of the movement, and so I was just like, oh, this is like the poor man's version of it. However, the dance scenes I think in the show were interesting. The way that they presented whatever the dance show was supposed to be looked so cheap. That's what I was feeling like.
Really liked that though. I was like, there's something about
so cheap and tacky.
I didn't think it was cheap or tacky though. I felt like it was so cold.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked about it. It's like, it's not this bright, shiny, like, Masked Singer. Where it's like, hey, everyone's doing happy, shiny, blah, blah, blah. There was something about, like, just putting Suzie specifically in a black room.
Yeah, no audience.
Or when they would cut to the audience, be like, 5 people.
Yeah.
It was maybe 3 rows.
Yeah. And you just had, like, applause in the background.
That made me think, actually, of what it would be like to be inside Susie's head.
Yeah, that's
and so when you get to the end and she has that dance sequence, which is happening entirely in her head because she's had a mental breakdown at that point, it's like, there's something about this place that's so synonymous of like what dance is like for Susie in her head. It's so freeing. It's a way of her expressing where she's at, how she feels.
It's like Black Swan, if you ever watch. Yeah,
exactly. Because I equally, in that first episode, I thought, huh?
Yeah, it was giving me cheap. That's what was making me feel like this ain't coming back for series 3.
I said her, and I thought, no, this feels stylized.
Yeah.
Like, if you were gonna do like, if it was like, we don't have money, we need to shoot this somewhere, this is not. Yeah. It would. I don't think you choose. Like, even the way the light falls in it, when they do that final dance, like the group number where she's like twerking, and like the group, I'm like, actually, this, like the light show, all of it, like that. All of this is deliberate. That I don't doubt for a second that they were like, we want a big empty space.
To just like,
and we want this show to have absolutely no personality.
Yeah.
So that we feel like, why is Susie so desperate to win this big empty nothing?
Yeah.
Because it's a big empty nothing in the end. She wins the show, but she doesn't get Frank at Christmas.
No.
Like, what does she get? I feel like more so than the first season, this season felt more metaphorical in a way that was like...
Yeah.
I think because it was only 3 seasons, only 3 episodes, that it felt a bit like it didn't give you enough time to be in the space to understand. Like, actually, I feel like this is giving me...
It's supposed to be talking deeper to something. And and that's the issue I had with the show. Because we've reviewed The Bear. And one of the things that we said in The Bear was that there were moments of chaos. I mean, non-stop, loud, chaotic arguments, moments, conflicts upon conflicts, different scenarios, different characters coming together. But what made sense was these moments of, or not made sense, but what helped those scenes was having those moments of reprieve and having a bit of that humour, having a bit of a break, and also the fact that there was shorter episodes. The problem I found with this, it was just non-stop chaos, and I feel like it was never a balance of like the balance and the peace. And as a result, I started to get tired of watching it. Each episode, I know those periods where I was starting to zone out, which is again indicative of the fact that it was a bit too long for this type of show, and it should have been kept to 30 minutes. But also I just felt that they just didn't have the knack for creating that pace that will keep you engaged but also pull you in when you need to be and pull you out when you need to. And that's what The Bear did so incredibly well, and what this show was lacking. So that's why for me, that was probably one of the biggest issues for me when I was watching the show. I don't think I felt the same when I watched I Hate Suzie than series 1.
I disagree with you, and I've disagreed with you. I think solely because I do not think that the first season was inviting, either.
And then neither seasons are inviting, but I think it was definitely better paced.
I think that's simply because it was a half hour. I think if you put back to back those, and also because it had an extra hour.
Yeah.
I feel, I don't know, it feels unfair to tar this season with the brush of like, because you didn't have enough episodes, or because the episodes weren't split up enough, it wasn't a good season.
But I think in an hour-long series episodes, you can still create strong pace. And
I don't think the pace was the issue. I think the pace was the pace. That's the pace it has always been.
Yeah.
I think the issue was you had breaks, and we didn't have breaks this time round. And I absolutely understand what you're saying in that, like, is it an enjoyable experience? Because it is very overwhelming, and Suzie is not in a good place for all of that, all of the season, actually. And like, the fact that she makes it all the way to episode 3 before having a breakdown is a wonder, because enough things happened that for me, I would have been like, do you know what, fuck this. Yeah. But I think for me, while I feel like Succession probably has influenced the pace of this.
Yeah.
I find Succession in sometimes relentless.
Yeah.
In some ways, like you said about the Bears, for the first 4 episodes, I found it relentless, and I watched those 4 episodes back to back.
Yeah.
So you could also argue like it gave me 2 hours of like fucking hell.
Yeah.
Why would I watch this before? I was like, oh, this is kind of fun, and I wonder if really truly the issue was that this show needed that 4th hour that it never got, to really, like you said, to spread it out, to give Suzie something to do that would have brought her some joy. I think the moments where she's practicing is the closest we get to Suzie feeling any sense of like relief.
Yeah.
And those moments are so brief.
Yeah.
And equally, there is also something always going on under the surface. Like in one of them, she's dancing with her ex-husband who clearly wants her back.
Yeah.
She's then staying at his house. Arguably, one of the themes of the season is Suzie manipulating the way that men feel about her, but equally, I don't think it's Suzie manipulating them so much as using how they feel about her, which is already incorrect.
Yeah.
Like, does Bailey see Suzie, or does he see a version of Suzie that he wants? Does Danny see Suzie, or does he see... Like, they hooked up twice, and then he's like, I'm ready to come tell everybody that we're together. Like, there's something about Suzie that makes men feel head over heels, but because they see who they want to see.
Yeah. And maybe because she's presenting only a certain type of vision or visual for those guys.
There are, like, I feel like there are so many great moments in this season where you get to see Suzie playing with who Suzie is. Like the VT that they shoot where they're like, right, so give us a Christmassy version. Like that made me, like those moments that made me laugh, or be yourself. And she's like, right, okay, because I felt like...
The last one was...
Do you know?
Myself,
yeah, and it's like... But equally, I agree with the people who's giving you the direction, which is, I don't know if I buy it.
Yeah.
And that is... What happens if just who you are inherently people just don't like? Because there is something... As much as there is something inviting about Suzie... We're saying Billie Piper, there is something off-putting about Suzie Pickles.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole point of the character, I think. I think the
She
character...
is fake.
She's supposed to be fake. She's supposed to be unlikable. Like, no doubt about it. But
she is fake. Of course she's fake. We find out she grew up on an council estate, but she's trying to present herself that she's a middle-class, dreamy mom. But as we were talking about earlier, if you grew up working class, does that mean you're working class for the rest of your life?
No,
or
because you can't become mobile.
But there is something I think specifically about British culture.
Like you're in your box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people don't like the idea that you grew up working class and now you're trying to pretend to be better than you are. That's how it's seen. Like, you can go from, like, elite to middle class and no one would bat an eyelid. But the idea of you trying to climb the social climate, it's not like America where, like, the goal is to go up.
Yeah.
Here it's like, ideally, everybody stays in their place. Yeah. And there is something, like, inherently unlikable about, like, somebody being like, well, I've done well for myself. So what's he
I've
saying?
won.
Being work class isn't doing well for yourself. It's like, well, you guys tell us all the time it isn't.
It's speaking to you has shown me a different view of the show, probably a bit of a deeper view, but it's still.
I think ultimately,
I still enjoy it. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I think ultimately, you know, as much as we talk about these shows, I think the thing that makes us review them is that, like, a TV show lives or dies by the fact that people want to watch it and that people find it enjoyable and want to tell their friends to watch it. And this is one of those shows that, like, as a person who works in TV, me and my colleagues have been talking about I Hate Suzie because we're like, this is a masterpiece. I don't know if your degular person at home sitting down turning on their TV wants to watch I Hate Suzie.
Yeah, I don't think it has that appeal. Same thing with Succession.
Famously, Succession doesn't do well.
Succession is a very niche show. Industry people like us love it. But really and truly, the regular layman, the regular Sky HBO audience, they ain't watching it like that. Honestly.
I think that, like, the biggest conflict for people who make TV is that people who make TV, the TV that they would make is not the TV that would get made. No. If that makes sense.
TV people are the hardest critics.
It's not even that. Like, we are people who've watched so much TV that to wow us, something has to be fucking weird.
You become synthesized.
Desensitized. We're not fucking plants. Go from photosynthesis.
Yeah, you become desensitized to any piece, like to anything, to any type of content. That's why everyone's doing mashups of thriller / romance / comedy / this / that, because you want to make it feel new. You want to feel excited about content again. I Hate Suzie, to me, I was not excited by it. The other thing that you mentioned, and I wrote it down, was when we were talking about normal people in our top 2022 shows and reviews, you made the joke, and I think it was very valid. It was a show written by white people for white people.
Yeah.
And I Hate Suzie is 100% that show. It was when I watched series 1, I felt the exact same way. It was I Hate Suzie is a show that I believe is written by middle-aged white women for other middle-aged white women.
I'll disagree.
You're going to disagree with all my points, but I really...
No. As in, I'm saying that I don't think it's for middle-aged white women. I think it's for middle-class white women.
Ooh.
No, because let's talk about it. It's not a...
Lucy Pebbles and Billie... Yeah, they're...
It's not... It's a working
middle class. They're upper class, really.
No. They're middle class. To be upper class, you have to be like landed gentry. You can't just become upper class. They're middle class. Most people are middle class.
They're making
bread. No, most people are middle class. You could be the richest person in the world. You're not going to be upper class. That's the issue with the class system. Let's not get into it. You have to have land.
Okay, but let's just say
your family name and your family has been around for years. They're upper middle class.
Yeah. Affluent, successful white women who are writing the show for other affluent white women who look like them. It's not a problem. You're writing shows for your audience that your audience can relate to because they look like you and act like you and they have a very similar life to you. The same way that some black creators do the exact same thing for audiences that look like them. Yeah,
I would like to add an addendum to my middle class.
Yeah.
I said I think they make middle class I think it's a middle class show for middle class women. And I won't even say specifically white women because I'm not white and I enjoyed the show. Yeah. But I am aware that as a creative that like what it tickled for me is like, how do you talk about these things? That's the thing that we're always circling, is like these are all prevalent things for a certain type of woman, right? And how do you tell that story? And I think that Lucy Prebble and Billie Piper have told their story in the way that their story ought to have been told. Yeah. And I think the problem is that like a working class woman's version of this story would be completely different. Yeah. A black woman's version of this story would be completely different. Yeah. And like it's just the sort of the luck of you making something that reflects you is that it's going to speak to people that are like you and not necessarily everyone else. Yeah. And then that's why I know it sounds like I'm trying not to say anything bad about it, and I'm like, there are definitely things that like I think could have been developed better, like the Friends fertility thing.
Yeah.
I feel like her friend had more of a storyline in the first season, and sort of weirdly is only relevant when she's helping Suzie. But then, like we said, it's to draw attention to how narcissistic Suzie is. But equally, like, if we get to see her and Cobb having lunch, that means we get to follow her.
Yeah.
So why don't we get to follow her in other things? Why do we only get that?
Why does it always have to be still remain in Susie's world? I mean, I know the show's I Hate Suzie, but really, why does it have to?
That's why. Yeah. Because it's I Hate Suzie.
It's not I Hate Naomi, or I Love Naomi.
But they could have figured out a way that Naomi was circling what Suzie was doing, but had her own thing.
Yeah.
Like if Naomi has given up being an Asian but has become an exec producer, for example, maybe she has got Suzie this job on dance things, but they're still not close. So like for once, when Susie's coming to Naomi, she's actually grovelling as opposed to expecting Naomi to just do things for her. That would have been interesting.
Yeah, I think about Bolly and Issa in series 4 of Insecure, where their relationship breaks down, and you see both characters, and they have character development. Both characters, they're not interlinked, but of course Molly's still in Issa's world. The show is about Issa, but you still understand what's going on in Molly's world. So by the time you get to the end of the season, you've been able to follow both of their journeys.
But I don't think they could have done that in season 2.
No, they couldn't have. No, they couldn't have at all.
Yeah,
because they built the groundwork. And,
exactly. And I think that's the problem with this, is that like you come back in the second. This is only technically the second season.
I think it should be the final.
I'm sure it will be. But what I'm saying is, it's not enough time for you to be like, oh, and the audience are going to be fine with us going off and seeing what Naomi's up to, and it having absolutely nothing to do with Suzie, because like, you know, Insecure is a show about that has a very loose, like the plot is not really important. It's a slice of life, really. Yeah. Whereas this is, at least in that first season, it was had a specific thing. It was work. There was a very clear conflict, and sorry, just going back to that thing. It's like, I just think it's very well made for what it is. And I'm not sitting here saying I think it was its target market, aside from the fact that like I'm a creative and can appreciate that it was very well made. And there were certain sequences I was like, this is funny. Like, this is like the way that you have this person talking about this serious thing while this very unserious thing is happening. That's like, to be quintessentially very funny. It's like, you know, having what's his name from Succession doing a rap at his birthday while they're in the midst of this battle between him and his dad. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's being able to pull like these moments that are just so inherently silly for what is going on in the show, that I feel like we have because of Lucy Preble's work on Succession.
I think I mean, I disagree about the whole, like, I mean, I know you're gonna have a lot of more positive things to say about the show, but I disagree because of my viewing experience. I didn't enjoy it, but I think it had moments of potential, and a lot of that is probably led by Lucy. And a lot of people disagree with me because it's been rated incredibly well. And I'm coming from also maybe a layman's view. It just is not something I would watch.
No, I'm not
it.
I'm saying, what I'm saying is that like you're being drawn to it. Your experience of watching it is important. I'm not saying that because it is technically good, it means that you have to say it was good. The way you felt about watching it is the way you felt about watching it, and that is important because TV, for all of the technical things that you're doing, all the clever things that you're doing, all the like hidden messages, all that stuff, if it is not first and foremost entertaining, it hasn't hit the mark. And so for you, it didn't hit the mark, and I absolutely understand that, and I respect that. I think that's important. I think for me, I enjoyed being in Susie's world in the sense that I'm like, in the sense that it is such an authored world. I wouldn't say I enjoyed it like this is where I want to spend the rest of my life at all, because like it is intense. It is. It's chaotic. Yeah. It's all over the place, and it's a person in the midst of a divorce. It's not pleasant, but I really respected I really enjoyed what they were going for. Like, even in that first episode showing Suzie having her abortion. Like, that isn't often done. We shy away from those things. Someone says they're having an abortion and that's it. They come back and they've had the abortion. Whereas they said, we're not gonna shy away from this. This is what it's like, and you know, this is what it is, and I really respect. I mean, a part of me was like, this is so visceral and like honestly brave, because I don't know if I would be like, we need these shots for our show, but like I do think the brand and the tone of the show means that they could do that. I don't think any show could do that. I do not think Insecure could have cut to an abortion scene. Not like that.
I'm going back to when Daniel and Issa had sex and he came on her face.
That's just not the same.
No, I know it's not the same, but I'm just trying to say in terms of like
they couldn't have done an abortion show because the abortion scene, because that's not what Insecure was about.
No, the premise of Insecure and that storyline, yes, it wouldn't land.
They barely explored grief.
Yeah, I mean,
like the show didn't really touch on anything.
And that's why I agree with you on that aspect. I think on the thing that I found, and I agree with you, it was very brave. How they portrayed the show was the fact that it was so explicit, and I don't think that if Insecure wanted to lean into a storyline, I don't think they'll be afraid to become that explicit.
I would say brand wise, I don't think they would do that.
It's not a brand. It's definitely not a brand thing for them, because Insecure was lighthearted. It was comedy. Oh yes, it had serious moments, but it's still always going to remain in the comedy aspects. Whereas I Hate Suzie, why I was saying that, the minute it moved into that hour-long mark, it ticked out of comedy for me and was, for me,
it's
purely drama.
To do an hour. Well, Succession is an hour-long comedy.
HBO is the only brand that can do something like that. I'm just talking about HBO as a very general view.
And this is why I don't know. You know, this is a conversation we've had off air about abortion, how it's portrayed. But like, I think so much about, when I think of the scenes about abortion, I think so much about Girls. When the first time that you meet Jessa, she is supposed to have an abortion, and all the other girls make it to the abortion clinic, and Jessa's not there, and Marnie goes, of course Jessa would be late to her abortion, and you're like, I can't believe that I'm this is being played for a joke, but it's like, I get what you're trying to do, which is like, this is just a fact of some people's lives. She's pregnant, she doesn't want to be, she's going to have an abortion. We've turned up as her friends to support her, and she's taking it seriously. Yeah. And then you get to the end of that episode, and actually the abortion doesn't happen because Jessa's period comes. Yeah. But you get that scene where she's like, oh, thank God I'm on my period, which again, you don't have a lot of scenes where people are happy that they're on their period. And that, I think, was one of the I can't think of another scene in anything before that I'd seen even a conversation about abortion in a comical way, like people being like, are you going to come to Jess's abortion? Like it's a party.
Not in a comical way. Like, I think Sex and the City also had an abortion, but then Miranda didn't do the abortion. They just were at the clinic, and then at the end they made a small joke about it when she's like, oh, I'm keeping the baby, and then, you know, blah 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 blah. But yeah, it's such a touchy subject, and it's a different podcast. It's a different episode when we discuss this.
But I think why I brought that up is like, I think it's something that middle-class white women can talk about that other people can't. And that is kind of the power of shows like this. Is that I think that their show can do that the way maybe a show about a young black woman on Sky would have to jump through so many hoops that they wouldn't get to talk about stuff like that. And that's why I brought up Insecure. What Insecure was trying to do, I don't think they were probably able to also be like, we're going to talk about this. That's not to say Issa Rae wouldn't talk about that on the TV show. I'm saying for what Insecure was, what it was bought as, what they were trying to do, there wasn't space for them to tell an abortion story the way maybe they would have liked to tell an abortion story, so they didn't.
I see where you're coming from then. I see where you're coming from.
And yeah, I guess what I'm saying is like the opportunity of shows like this is that they get to talk about things in a way that echoes of real life, the way white women can that other people can't. You know, so
it's the way of life. C'est la vie.
You know.
Yeah. Should we rate this? Because we talked a lot, and I think it's probably quite obvious where our ratings are gonna go. You want to start, or should I?
Yeah, I would give this a 4. I think I think for me, as we always talk about, like shows that I've drawn to, like The Mole, are shows that surprise me, but also shows that like are bold and deliver what they're delivering.
Yeah.
Not necessarily what I would deliver with what
Yeah.
that material, but what they're doing. And I was like, I sat down and I was in their world. And they definitely had a world. Whether or not I wanted to spend time, whether or not you want to spend time with it is a separate factor. In terms of how I rate it.
Yeah.
So I would give it a 4. Would I watch it again? Yes, because I just love dance scenes. Like, honest, like I said at the top of the review, if you're going to have a dance scene or something, you got me. You've actually got me. I'm coming back for it.
Yeah.
I almost went back and rewatched the dances. Of that last, of that last step.
That one was very interesting. Like that one, I didn't expect to come in again for white middle-aged white women. I wasn't expecting them to be twerking and going at it. So, I would rate it a 2.5. It wasn't as enjoyable to watch. I think it has some interesting aspects in terms of really delving into Susie's psyche. I think Billie Piper is a captivating and interesting actress. Like, there's no doubt about her talent, and there were potentials of those scenes where you could land the humor, the drama, some of that chaos that they were trying to like infuse. It just wasn't done in a way that will make it engaging from a viewer perspective. So yeah, I give it a 2.5. I do also think that the timings, duration, and the way that they positioned the show as 3 episodes, hour-longs, didn't help. Doesn't mean that it was detrimental. I just think it didn't help overall. I don't think they're going to have a series 3. And it's a shame. And I honestly, I know you were saying it was well done, and I think it was. It felt cheap. I felt like there was some budget missing. And Sky, I feel like Sky has something to say about why this show cannot succeed for series 3. I think that's it. It's very odd that we have very like varying ratings. Our scores are like massively different on this.
Yeah,
It is.
they are.
But it happens. We can't agree on everything. Money's being silent because she's not happy with my score.
No, I just don't know what else there is to say.
There
We've already
really
discussed it, haven't we? And
yeah.
like we both know where we're I know what you're coming from. I know where I'm coming from. So I don't really know what else there is to say.
But you know what
other than the scores which we've said.
You know what we should talk about? What we're going to review next week.
Yeah.
Talking about the shows that we kind of referenced in the review, we're going to review Wednesday.
Yeah, I think we're a little bit late to the game because everyone before Christmas was like Wednesday. But I'm actually intrigued to see what the fuss is about because
Same.
I'm gonna be honest, I haven't watched an Addams Family film in several years.
I've never watched
one. I
one.
can't actually remember what would be the pull of Wednesday, but it feels like it's actually a sort of murder mystery.
Yeah, and also Tim Burton.
I don't like Tim Burton, but we can talk about it. I mean, I feel like we'll talk about it next week.
We'll talk about it. That has been really fun.
I like Edward Scissorhands.
Yes, and he did Willy Wonka, didn't he?
Yeah.
And I liked his version of Willy Wonka with Johnny Depp.
I didn't like it better than the original.
No, of course not. Nothing can be the original, but I actually liked
then why bother making it?
I think...
Next!
Yeah.
Why are we making things if they're not going to be as good or better than the original?
We live in a world where IP wins.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. But, like, Tim Burton's obsession with Johnny Depp hasn't aged well, has it? Now we can't watch any of his fucking films. Anyway, work. Yeah.
And on that note, thank you so much for listening to our review, our many, many reviews of award shows and of I Hate Suzie Too. This has been Scripts and Giggles with Shoshanna
and Marnell James Williams.
Oh my gosh.
That's right. I forgot to tell you I got married since we last recorded.
To Tyler James Williams and his short torso.
And now my name is Marnell James Williams.
Okay, thanks guys. Bye.
Bye.
It was Colin Farrell, as I mentioned before, for the Banshees of Inisherin, yeah. Were Kerry Condon for Banshees of Inisherin.
Inisherin.
That word is really hard. Kelly Coco,
Cuoco.
Kelly Cuoco, and Ortega for
Ortega.
Jenny Ortega.
Ortega.
It was the one and only, the amazing Jennifer Coolidge.
Coolidge. Why can't you say words properly?
Was Natu Kala Bearava.
I'd rather you didn't read this.
Yeah, no, I'm done.